average star. These are our boys. Got a whole bunch of testosterone on the panel.
Hey Ari, is my pick better now, so you won't mistake me for the scratchy voice tranny?
Oh, yeah, that's great. I love that. I'm so glad that you changed it and you're not going to be the 5-foot tiff with, like, bad acne.
Okay, question. What's a TIFF? Okay, that's a new one.
Trans-identified female.
Oh, okay.
Tiffies and Terras. Okay, I gotta blow my nose and then we'll start.
I was going to say something nastier, but then I like my newly formed TikTok censor changed it to bad acne. So that was the toned down insult.
Regale Tyler with your stories of Jade from last night.
Actually, we ended on agreement. You should just go watch the YouTube thing. I don't know. I kind of lost my cool last night.
Yeah, well, me and Jade butted heads on Middles Live, and the only thing Jade could come at me for was being bald.
Well, I mean, you're a cop, so.
Has Charlie ever licked your head?
Bald cop, like.
Well, like, she's coming at me for being bald, right? And I was like, okay, and you spend how much money a year on fucking wigs? Like, I spent $20 on my head shaver like 4 years ago.
Excuse me? You spent $20
on a head shaver.
On a head shaver. Huh.
And it has been fantastic. I think we're finally to the point I need to buy a new one, but...
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. Let's go ahead and start the prompt, see if people start joining up. So we'll start with transphobic, then we'll go Tyler, then we'll go with positive. Transphobic. The topic tonight is orientation, allegations, and stigma. To remind everybody on the panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. So transphobic, does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
It does, but it should not.
Okay.
What is going on there?
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
Both.
Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Yep.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
Nope, two different things.
Thank you. Tyler, does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
It does and it shouldn't.
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
I think that is situational.
Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Abso-friggin-lutely.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
No.
All right, Buggums. Does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
It does, but it shouldn't.
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
Situational.
Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Yes.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
Nope.
All right, you guys are all conditional on the smart or sus, so I'd like to open the panel with that discussion. Once again, no race, don't use the word cis. You can use adult language, but don't use any slurs and don't make any direct threats. Floor is open.
Well, I just think it's just situational. Like, if you're very close to the individuals and there's no concern, then there's no concern. But like, I think what it comes down to is like, you don't want to be like alone with like the children of people you don't trust.
That part. But I also think
it's not the kids.
Not the kids. And I think we could just drop the gay part and just a man, period.
No, a man, period. Any man. Like, you do not want to be alone around the kids of parents you do not trust. It's not the kids will make false accusations against an adult, but that can be weaponized against a man. and like false accusations can destroy a life.
One of the things I heard, but I didn't actually witness, I don't have any facts on, but I've heard that during the Me Too movement, there were several male teachers that refused to be alone with female students. And that wasn't the accusation coming from the teacher, that was coming from the students. So don't you think it aligns with the same thing? And since an allegation can, of course, destroy a life, how could it be anything but smart?
Well, so I mean, I think it would be very, very sus if you were to, for example, be that way around the children. For example, my best friend, I've known her for 26 years and I helped raise most of her kids. And it would be weird and sus if at any point when she has another kid, which she's on 5 now, if I suddenly felt uncomfortable being alone around her children. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that would be really sus. I'd be like, okay, why? Like, what?
Okay. But how about the teacher and the not wanting to teach girl students?
Oh no, like literally I'd be doing the same thing and I'm gay. Like that's not going to save you from a girl trying to get rid of you with an accusation like that during Me Too. Are you kidding, girl?
So what I think is, as what Trans was saying, that like if you really know the
Oh,
person,
stay positive. Please call me transphobic or Ari, but never trans.
okay, sorry.
Thank you, love.
Okay, but as Ari was saying, I do agree what she's saying. That like, if you do know the person very well, it will be kind of sus that like all of a sudden like you refuse to be around their children. But I also see the smart way because even like just drop the gay part, like just being a man, like people there's this stereotype that people think that all men are bad and that all men will
Well, I
do
mean, it's not
something
even
to their
necessarily
children.
the stereotype; it's the statistics that men,
Yeah.
like men, are
But
in general more violent, and statistically are the perpetrators of SA far more than female counterparts. Not
but
saying
then
it's impossible,
again,
right?
but then again, if we add the gay part onto it, 95% of child molester cases are heterosexual men. So
And that's
I
where
think,
paraphilia comes in.
yeah, so I think it's, so yeah, so I would think that like if you don't, now smart way is that like the if like let's say for example, let's say that like you worked at a daycare, let's say for example, right? The parents don't know if you're gay or straight. So they'd be like, why is there a man teaching young kids or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
100%. Even as a gay dude, like I honestly would side eye if I took my child to a daycare and found a dude. Like a just straight up sexist moment for me.
Exactly. Same with me.
You guys
I
both brought up a
actually
good
don't
point.
think that men should be working in that field, honestly, but I also don't think that women belong on the front lines of a war or as police officers.
I'll only hold contention in the fact that I will say this straight up: women are so much better at de-escalation than men.
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
roles for that. They're not the ones that deal with the violence, though.
Alien, welcome up. Could I get your age, please?
I'm 24.
Good deal. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Tonight's topic is about orientations and allegation and stigma. Does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
Yeah, I think more men are kind of socially found guilty before proven guilty.
Okay.
Like people will assume that a man is guilty just by accusation alone.
If a gay
Not
man
as
refuses,
powerful.
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
I don't know. I think homosexuals have a higher rate of child molestation, but I might have heard wrong.
You are very incorrect, but go on.
Let's
That's just what
Yeah,
I've heard.
that's
guys,
incorrect.
we can address that in open panel, but let's stay on mute during the intros. So, is it
Okay.
smart or sus if a gay man refuses to be alone with children? Screw you, alien. Okay. Oh, so when we were talking up there, let's change it over to, does biological sex affect how SA allegations are viewed? I want Tyler to respond to that one.
Yes, 100%.
Should it?
This is a very hard question for me as somebody who's worked in pseudo sex crimes.
That's why I asked you.
Statistically, yes.
It should matter?
I don't know that I would say that it should matter, but it generally does.
Are women
Just because-
investigated as diligently as men?
No, they're not, and I have an anecdote for that one. I guess 2 anecdotes for that one.
Say what you can say safely.
Yeah, I know. Well, okay, so one involves my little brother. Neighbor up the street was bribing young teenaged boys. My brother, one of them. Luckily, he was not a victim of, but she was bribing teenage boys with the Mary Jane and the Boozykins to sleep with her ancient ass. And there were 3 boys, I believe, that did end up participating, and she got 6 months in a work release program, whereas were it a male that had done those things, he would still be in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that females are given a lighter sentence.
Okay.
Well, that's the
They
thing,
are,
though.
but
is
they
that-
should be tossed in the wood chipper just like the rest of them. No exceptions, okay? Like, it's weird. They want equality, but do they really want equality?
Well, so if we want to go into that kind of case, go into prison case.
No, not prison. I don't support prison for pedophiles. I support the Roman Colosseum with cyborg animals because we don't need to sacrifice actual animals. They're not worth that, and we have the technology to avoid it, or a wood chipper.
Slow speed.
Well,
Let's get Elijah in. Elijah, we already know the rules and we already know your age. So tonight we're talking about orientation allegations and stigma. Does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
Does it affect it? Yes, it does. Should it affect it? In my opinion, no.
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
It's smart.
Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Yes, it can.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
It can, but not all the time.
Okay, good deal. Open panel.
When you say paraphilia can align with sexual orientation, what do you mean?
Like autogynephiles.
What do you mean?
Like the heterosexual male-identified transsexuals who are obsessed with dressing in like...
I know what an
Autogyne?
autogynephile
Yeah.
is. I've studied it extensively, but what do you mean autogynephiles are in alignment with a sexual orientation? Autogynephilia is not a sexual orientation.
They're typically associated with, heterosexual transsexuals, specifically male ones, so that's...
Oh, so you mean that like paraphilias can be tied to a sexual orientation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't think that's the nature. I'm sorry. I was just double checking that you weren't like equating them. I don't think that's the nature of the question. But yeah,
Oh,
some
okay.
paraphilia are
Apologies.
like sexual orient. No, you're good. It just threw me for a second because I think the nature of the question is basically like, are these two things comparable? Which
Oh, absolutely not. Oh my goodness.
But there is like there are paraphilia that are tied to or based on a sexual orientation. But yeah, okay, cool. I was just clarifying. I was
Oh
like
my
100%.
gosh,
I
I'm
was like,
so
wait a
sorry. I
minute.
did not mean to. Oh my lord.
Curtis, welcome up.
Okay.
Welcome up. Could you come off mute and share your age, please? Curtis. Open panel.
Oh my, that was.
What do you want from me? I
Is
have
that a
nothing for you right
doggy?
now. Yes. If I give you bones, will you leave me alone? No, you won't scritch. Because
Yeah, paraphilia can be tied to sexual orientation. Well, in the case of autogynephilia is kind of like a paraphilia that stems from a psychological mechanism, I'd say. Like it stems from erotic target identity inversion. So it's based on a heterosexual or gynophilic attracted person with erotic target identity inversion. But like paraphilia aren't tied to sexual orientation at the same time because paraphilia can cause someone to act against their sexual orientation. Paraphilia can cause an otherwise heterosexual male to commit homosexual acts for the sake of satisfying their paraphilia, but not because they're genuinely attracted to males, just because of the paraphilia.
Underpaying,
Okay,
can I get
now
your
it's
age,
making
please?
so much sense. Okay, sorry
I'm
for the
18.
misunderstanding.
Thank you. What year were you born?
2008.
All right, good enough. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, we don't ask stupid questions, including where we don't use the word cis. Today, we're talking about orientation, allegations, and stigma. Does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
No, but it probably does.
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
It's more paranoid than anything, but I don't really know.
Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Yeah, definitely.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
Not all the time.
Okay, thank you for that. Cookin, welcome back. Could I get your age again, please?
28.
Thank you for that. On this panel, we don't discuss race. We don't use the word cis. We're talking about orientation, allegations, and stigma tonight. Does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
I think that it affects how it's societally viewed, and it should not because a victim's a victim, but it does not affect a court case.
Okay. A gay man refuses to be alone with children. Is that smart or sus?
I used to work with kids. I say it's smart. I always go in the rule of threes. I think it's the best way to protect the child and protect yourself.
Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
I don't think so. We have so many men that are in positions of power high up in society that have multiple allegations, and it's done nothing.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
I actually don't know what that word means.
Oh, excellent. Well, we're going to do some education tonight. Once again, guys, don't discuss race. Don't use the word cis. We can use adult language on this panel. Obviously, don't use any slurs and don't make any direct threats. Transfer, go ahead and answer the question, and then we will be open panel.
I just wanted to say before I answer that question, but this is why I said that power is the factor that matters here into whether or not an allegation will destroy a man's life. Because a man with no power can have his life entirely destroyed by a false allegation. But a man with a lot of power can commit heinous crimes to many, many people and even children and get away with it endlessly because of their power. So it's all about how much power the man has as to whether or not this is an impactful thing or not. A paraphilia is an abnormal sexual attraction, an atypical, persistent sexual attraction to an object or concept that would not be normal in any capacity.
To answer the question about paraphilia, am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, paraphilia.
No idea. I've never given that thought, so I don't really want to speak on that because it's not. I'd like to think for.
If I could give you some examples, a type of some paraphilias would be like masochism, sadism, pedophilia, voyeurism. Are these things the same as sexual orientations?
No.
That's the question.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that I could put it into a long formed answer, but I would just say no.
Yeah, no.
Can I respond to your allegations destroying a life?
Open panel, sure, go for it.
I think that in rare cases it can quote unquote destroy a life, but I think most of the times that's more of a social aspect. But I'm speaking about men as a whole because typically these allegations are going towards men. They typically keep the job. They typically keep their friend group that they have. The cases where they don't, it's the rarity, not the majority. So I don't think that it really destroys a life. I think there are some rare cases where it can, given when like the case is taken to social media. However, allegations, are we speaking about false or just generalized?
Well, the allegation is going to be followed by an investigation for the most part. So we're talking about before conviction, before court.
Well, absolutely. It takes about 2 years for a case like that to go to court. So prior to that, typically people, huh?
I was just going to say statistically, like it's like 50 out of 1,000 cases go to court, 25 of them see justice. So if you're just going off the stats, then allegations rarely destroy lives when you're talking about the justice system. However, the social justice system is an entirely different matter. Like people have been driven to unaliving by these kinds of things through endless social media hazing. People who just didn't have the self-control to turn it off or silence it, you know?
I just think given the rate that false allegations happen, those are so false allegations happen at a 2 to 7% rate. And the majority of false allegations come from somebody who struggles with reality. So they're not necessarily accusing something. They're typically accusing an entity, something that does not exist, such as a ghost or a goblin or a ghoul. I'm not saying that there aren't any false allegations. I'm saying that they're so small, given that also the rate in which that people do get affected by these false allegations. I know that this is the particular thing that that the host wanted to talk about. I just think that there may be bigger fish to fry.
I'm going to appreciate listening more than responding. So, open panel.
Yeah, it's not really my fish to fry, but I do think it's impactful. I think it has a pretty large impact on some people. Not on me. I've got turf saying crazy bullshit about me every single day, trans people as well. It doesn't really faze me, but I think some people, it really does fuck with them. I think it can really mess up their lives.
Comrade, welcome up. Can we get your age, please?
Hello, I'm 44 and I'm from Philly.
Let me get through the intro. I know you came up for that, but let me just get through the intro. This panel, we don't discuss race. We don't use the word cis. We're talking about orientation, allegations, and stigma. In your opinion, does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
To your first question, yes, it does. To your second question, I'm gonna say no, but I want to add the caveat of it. It should depend.
Okay, we can get into that. If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
God damn. I wouldn't categorize it as either smart or suspect. I would say it's yeah, again, it depends, right? Let me say it depends because I know a lot of black men who are refusing to be teachers because of that same reason.
Okay, even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Absolutely.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
No.
And you came up to say something specific, so the floor is yours, and then we'll go into open panel.
I'm going to say that that between 2 and 7% stat is grossly outdated. It's from a study. I know the study they're using. It's one that only accounts for 34% of the actual data, because 67% goes unreported. So you can't actually tell me how many of them are false using not even half of the data.
So actually, fun fact. So there are a lot of unreported cases. However, there's an alternative route called an anonymous report. Given that you go to a forensic medical exam, you get the entire thing done. However, police don't get involved. So those are still included in statistics. They're just not reported on crime statistics.
Do you have that statistic?
I know that, and there's still no way to prove whether that happened or not.
Well, there's no way to prove that any of it happened or not. That's the issue. You find the DNA, now prove that it wasn't consensual. Force or not, prove that it wasn't. You see that there are bruises, prove that it wasn't just aggressive.
Yeah, all the data we have from the DOJ says that male victims of rape do not report at all. Like, heavily
All of them, none of them
disincentivized.
do?
There's like a lot of, there's a whole DOJ thing I could send you from the rain. That's like, there's massive underreporting with males. There's like a whole bunch of different factors. They said it's like societal stigma, culture.
Absolutely.
Like there's
Yes.
like especially male culture, like the shame, like just we don't report.
And I think that that's absolutely awful. Completely disagree with that. So one thing that I feel like, and I'm not saying that this is your doing or that this is your intent. I feel like frequently people talk about the social stigma behind men reporting, which is absolutely awful and should not be the case whatsoever. But I almost feel like it's usually in retaliation to say, well, women report, as they should. Men should as well. I don't think that the finger should be pointed at women for reporting. What do we have to do to get men to report more?
Oh, that's not going to happen, hun. Like the things that prevent men from reporting when we're victimized by these things are the same reason gay men transition. It's the same reason feminine men are treated as lesser in society.
By who?
Well, by society, it's all because we have a very, very sexist, horrible society, and to be a feminine man is to be adjacent to women who are second-class citizens, and that has a trickle-down effect on male victims of SA. It has a trickle-down effect on feminine gay men, feminine gay boys. Like this impacts everything. Our whole society is sexist, and if it wasn't so sexist, then reporting from these things would be closer to each other between the sexes.
I feel like we're saying the same thing, but almost like not
We're saying
quite
it
on the
from
same
different
page.
sides
Yeah.
of the spectrum.
I do think that typically when men not reporting comes into play, it's almost, and once again, I'm not saying that you're doing this, but it's almost to point the finger at women.
No, I think what you're doing is you're taking the statements I'm saying and you're making them about you.
No, I said this isn't what you were doing. I'm
Okay,
saying
because I'm
frequently.
not
I
doing
said that like
that.
4 times. I said
I
you
don't know why
weren't
you
doing
keep
this 4
saying that when
times.
I'm not doing that. Like, what's
Well,
the
that's why I
point?
said you
Why did it
weren't
even
doing
come
that.
up?
Okay, people do that.
Because
I'm
I
not
feel
doing
like
that.
I feel like that rhetoric also pushes that ideology regardless of your intention. I'm not saying that that's your
Can I just say
intention.
something?
So
Can I just
because
say
they
something
do
really
it with bad
quickly?
intent, I'm not allowed to talk about it at all?
Did I say
How you
that?
feel
Okay,
about a
well, I don't know
statement?
what is the point of saying that? I
Isn't
mean,
How you
there?
maybe I'm
feel
being
about a statement
autistic and
doesn't
I'm
dictate
spectral
the
trying to
about
tell
reality
it.
of
you why I'm bringing it up.
Okay, tell me. I'm listening.
Because I understand what you're saying. The reason that I said what I said was to say that the ideology that you're bringing up, although valid, is negative rhetoric that typically misogynistic men use in a way to point a finger at women.
What
for their own
ideology are
issues.
you talking about, ma'am?
The
Can you
ideology that
define
men
that?
don't report, the idea that men do not report because of social stigma that is typically upheld
In
by
the
men.
DOJ rain report. That's in the DOJ rain
Where are
report.
we?
That's the
Wait,
government saying that. That is literally what the government says for why people like me do not report it when we are raped as kids. That's what the government said. They also like that's literally what the fucking government said.
do you think I'm disagreeing with
Let me go
the
pull up
No.
the fucking
statistics?
study.
Hey, can I get a word
I
in
mean, I don't.
edgewise?
You're
Yeah, go
accusing
ahead,
me of
comrade.
pushing a
Comrade, all right,
misogynistic
comrade, speak.
ideology
I
by
didn't
reading
call you
something from a rain
misogynistic.
report.
Let's take a breath and let comrade pop in. Go ahead, comrade.
So I heard everything you were saying. The person above me, I can't see your name because the host thing is blocking it. But I heard and I understand everything you were saying because I also am a victim of this. But like I do understand where you're coming from because Cooking is your name.
Yeah.
He didn't say any of what you're saying, right? So it was no reason to introduce it into the. Do you see? Wait. It was no reason to introduce it into the conversation, right? Those people who usually use that rhetoric to mean that like to attack women aren't here right now. You aren't talking to them, so there's no reason to bring them up.
I was bringing up a conversation topic. I wasn't pointing a finger at that individual. That's why I said multiple times. I know that this is not what you are doing. I said
But
that
I get
4
that.
times.
I get that. I'm saying there's no reason to introduce some vague entity that isn't in this conversation into the conversation. No one here is using men don't report to attack women. So it's like irrelevant to anything we're saying.
Isn't the point of a conversation to progress it? I wasn't ever pointing a finger about.
Okay, so where were you going to finish that? I just want to hear how you
It
were
was
going to finish.
finished. That was finished. That was it. That was my whole talking point. That's why I said multiple times, I know that this is not what you're doing.
So
Like, I
that's
don't know
what's
why I said
confusing me.
multiple times, I know that this is not what you're doing.
I hear you.
So
And then
I
they
hear
said,
you.
why
what?
are you saying that I'm doing this? I never said you
I
were
hear
doing
you,
that. I
Cooking.
specifically said
I
that
hear
you
you.
weren't.
Wait, but just hear me out, right? I feel like women who approach things like this are usually denying that male victims exist, and then I just
I would
ended
never
that day.
deny that a
I
male
thought
victim
you were
exists. I get
trolling me.
disclosures. No, I'm so sorry that I came across as trolling you. That was never my intention. And I'm genuinely sorry that I came across that way.
Oh, you're a sweetheart.
LMAO response.
You don't have time.
Mean to pause, but I was putting a comment in the chat. That shouldn't have paused me.
Hold on, let me check the block list.
That's so weird.
Oh no, nothing.
Thanks, comrade. I usually focus more on trans consent and disclosure, but I think that this is an important conversation, and it's actually only leads to the great transgender bathroom debate occasionally.
No.
What's usually the consensus on that?
Which one?
You said the great transgender bathroom debate. I wanted
There
to
will
know
never
what
Any
your
be a
male
numbers.
that
consensus.
crosses that threshold is perpetuating the abuse of women, no exceptions.
And every female that goes across that line
You said
does
the
not
great
care about the safety
transgender.
and consent of men and boys.
But that's
AKA,
it's
we
about
believe
traditional.
that's
There will never be
spaces.
agreement to it because the people that are perpetrating the invasion they don't care. If they cared, that wouldn't be a problem.
If they cared, they wouldn't do it.
Exactly. They don't.
I'm so sorry. Can somebody explain to me how we got? I think I missed something or got lost a little bit.
So basically, it just boils down to anytime we talk about orientation, someone at some point has to come in and be like, "But the trans."
Yeah.
Wait, do
But the
people actually
trains-
care if there are trans people in the bathroom?
Yes.
I do. I'm trans and I do.
Absolutely. Like, of course. Like, you know, it's so weird because, like, we just had a whole conversation about survivors, but for some reason, like, nobody ever thinks about the female survivors that are just not participating in society in the same way because we've allowed every single paraphilic man into the women's bathroom who wants to go in there. Literally, what are like fucking 45, 55-year-old female survivors doing in the world where Buffalo Bill's in every single fucking bathroom in the country? Are they just like clutching their 357s in their purses, or are they just like not using public spaces and avoiding them altogether? Because I'll tell you what my mother's doing. She's avoiding them altogether, which is why I'm here.
And my mom's doing the same thing.
Hi,
One of my
Melissa.
biggest
Welcome up. Could I get,
frustrations-
oh. Hi, Melissa. Welcome up. Could I get your age, please?
Yeah, 45.
Thank you for that. On this panel, we don't discuss race and we don't use the word cis. Today, we're talking about orientation, allegations, and stigma. Does sexual orientation affect how SA allegations are viewed, and should it?
I think in some way it might.
Should it?
No.
If a gay man refuses to be alone with children, is that smart or sus?
I'm honestly not sure how to answer that.
Okay, we can come back to it. Even without a conviction, can an allegation destroy a life?
Sure.
Does paraphilia align with sexual orientation?
Okay, I'm gonna say, what's paraphilia?
A paraphilia,
Sadism, masochism, stuff like that. Autogynephilia, like pedophilia, stuff like that.
Pedophilia.
No, I don't think that should be considered a sexual orientation.
Okay, good deal. Once again, we don't discuss race, don't use the word cis. We can use adult language on this panel. Obviously, don't use slurs or make any direct threats. Tyler, you were getting ready to say something, so after he finishes up, we'll go in panel.
No, I was just going to say, kind of in line with like what we were talking about with cooking left. What we were talking about with cooking, my number one frustration with the bathroom thing, right, is you hear a lot of people screaming, "It's all men till no men," unless he's in a dress.
But
Look.
cooking's gone.
And then now we're letting them into the bathroom because it's totally fine.
Look.
Bill's wearing a fucking dress. Like,
The women who are saying it's all men until it's no men are also not on my team.
I mean, I'm an SA survivor myself during childhood and during adulthood. And quite frankly, if someone's going to the bathroom, I don't care what they're wearing.
But do you care what they are?
I've been in a men's bathroom before in situations where like the women's bathroom is closed or they're cleaning it or something, and there's been guys in there, and I've just walked by with my hand in front of my eyes and I said, "Excuse me, sorry, got to use this bathroom," and nobody's had any problem with it.
Okay, but do you think that you can give consent for other people?
No, I'm just saying giving consent for myself.
Yeah, right, for yourself. But like they're public spaces and they're made for females, and so like there are females who are not okay with it. And I really do feel like if there's one female saying no, that's it. That's the end of it. There's definitely at least one. I'd say there's a couple million at least. Their consent matters. Their no matters.
Okay, so this prompt seems to have a shelf life of 40 minutes before we get into the great bathroom debate. So I'm just gonna change the prompt to the great bathroom debate.
No, I don't want to talk to trains anymore.
Hallie, I'm
Now
not.
it's on to the great
asking-
bathroom.
right?
What?
I'm not asking you to put up this kind of topic. I'm curious if you have one that's focused on men's mental health.
No, not yet.
Good. That would be an
Okay.
interesting one.
Well,
Oh
I
my
bring it up
God,
because
we're not
it's
allowed to
been-
do that.
I bring it up because it's something that's been on my mind a lot lately, only because I'm going to derail for like 5 seconds if that's okay, Hallie.
Yeah, go for it.
So, because I used to very much so be in that, like, the mindset of, like, so go get mental health help, right? Like, you're fine, go get it. Just suck it up and go get mental health help. Until I started working in law enforcement. And now I see where the stigma comes from, right? If I go to my therapist and express too much, am I still going to have a job? And then now that I am a parent, I feel like if I go to my therapist and express too much, am I putting myself in a situation, or am I letting my children down? Like, it's been something weighing super heavy on me lately, because I used to be very like, just go get help. And now, given my career and being a dad, I understand much more in people's hesitation.
Well, I would assume that HIPAA would protect you as far as, you know, your job, unless
Yeah.
you're getting
Well, and it does,
psychotherapy
and
or whatever through your job.
And it does. And as somebody who's worked in the mental, like, I've worked in mental health, I've worked in the medical field for the better part of a decade. I know that, but there's still just that, like, that fear of, like, if my kids know that I'm in therapy and that I need to take a break because I learned this coping skill and I need to take a break. Like, there's that fear in the back of my mind, like, am I going to be viewed as weak?
And here's the thing. I think that people need, like, there is a stigma against mental health, but people need to have that kind of corrected. Like, you should teach your kids that that's actually what you're supposed to do. That's what a strong man does. A strong man should be able to acknowledge when he needs help and seek that help in order to continue to stay in control, to continue to stay the pillar in the family, to continue to be a good father to their children. And it's not a weakness. It's a weakness to bury it, not address it, and then let it break you or impact you later in a way that impacts everybody. HIPAA
Exactly.
ultimately protects all of us. Unless you are expressing intent to commit homicide or self-unaliving, like, you're fine. Look, I'm someone who
So let's
went
be
through
clear, I am.
residential as a teenager and ended up having a sealed childhood record because I have complex PTSD. And spending a good amount of time in residential treatment for my PTSD saved my life. Saved my life.
And, like, let's be clear, I am still in therapy because I'm not about to put my family in any position to have to, what's the word I want? Commit me.
Yeah.
But there's, like, and like I said, I'm very aware, like, HIPAA protects me, all that jazz. But there's just that small, like, tick in the back of my mind that's like, you're weak, you're sad. Like, I'm never going to stop going to therapy because I started it way before I got into law enforcement, way before I had children. But, like, more for other people, like, that I'm starting to see it and understand it for other people and trying to find ways to be, like, a support
be
for
perceived as
others.
being broken in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Well, like, look, you can be a shattered, fractured, destroyed individual, or you can piece yourself back together. But anybody who judges you for having to get help probably doesn't understand what it's like to need that kind of help. You don't get that way for nothing. And, like, there's a lot of people out there in the world, and you should know, you definitely know this as a cop, that the world is filled with people who have never experienced that level of pain and suffering. They've never experienced the kinds of things that you see every day. You have the haves and the have-nots, and those who have never truly experienced that, like, they're incapable of conceptualizing the darkness of humanity until it hits them in the face one day. And that's just how it is. They will not be able to understand.
Yeah, one of the main reasons I got back into therapy was when I started working for ICAC.
What's that?
Internet Crimes Against Children.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
I love.
Yeah, that'll make you need therapy.
Yes, it was. I loved that job because hunting was fun. We'll just leave it at that.
I enjoy, you know what? Literally, Tyler, like a couple months ago, I ran into someone who I was warned about ahead of time that I wasn't going to like him because he's creepy. And he set my red flags off so much that I spent 12 hours digging into his life until I found his criminal record, which was filled with CSAM. Like, I get it. Like, this, I will spend days just hunting a motherfucker down.
Hunting was fun. Evidence was not.
No.
But yeah, I feel like jobs like that need to have
It's
free
not
therapy.
weird. It's not weird at all. Like, he just reminded me of something because he was something. And so I found it.
I do the same thing, Ari. Do not fret.
That's actually what started piquing me on trans. There was this one trans, Jade, and he hurt 5 girls in Bellingham and then transitioned and moved to Seattle. And there was another one, Charles Procopa, and he went to prison for a couple years for CSAM and then transitioned. And both of them I met like post transition and into hiding, and I got the really bad red flags and became obsessive. And then I found their past.
Hey, Flora, so you weren't here for it. So how am I a fanatic by having been a internet crimes against children investigator?
Wait, what are we fanatics about, Florida?
How am I? Well, you know what? I am fanatical. Yeah, no, I'm fanatical about hunting down P3DOs. I'm cool with that. If
I just
if
love
you
my
think
cat,
that's
y'all.
fanatical and bad, like whatever, bro. Like if it bothers you,
We got
then
3
like you're
mods up
pretty
on the
sus.
panel. Somebody be nice to poor Leo. We got 3 mods on the
Hi,
panel.
Leo. Can we get your age, please?
Hi, Leo.
Hello, people. Yeah, I'm 24.
Awesome. And did you come up for the conversation at hand or the topic?
The topic.
Awesome. So just a couple quick rules. No discussing race, no using the word cis, and no stupid questions such as, why can't we use the word cis? So do you think that third space bathrooms are a solution or a circular argument?
I feel like it's the solution. I feel like that's what's gonna solve a lot of issues. Because the issue is, I think a lot of people think when I go on panels and stuff like that, and some of these people have like got me recorded and stuff like that, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, well, he's a transphobe or whatever it is. He doesn't like trans people, or he doesn't accept it." And I personally feel like, in the end of the day, I feel like it'll solve it because it'll solve the huge safety issue. It has nothing to do with the fact of them being trans. It's more of a safety and a potential danger and the ideology of it. I don't want a woman or a child getting attacked because a trans woman goes into the bathroom, you know, in the woman's
Yeah, and
bathroom.
that kind of goes into our the next question. If everyone can use it, is it a third space? Or if it's only trans people who use it, who enforces that boundary?
I guess trans people, if only trans people could use it, yeah.
So who would enforce the boundary that only trans people would use a third space?
I mean, I guess the law.
Okay, does it solve the conflict or does it just move it somewhere else?
I think it would solve it because I feel like some people would feel like it's segregated, but at the end of the day, we could either call it like unisex or whatever the heck you want to call it, or something like that, so it's not super identifying. But like at the end of the day, I care for trans people, you know, I love them. They're people too. I don't hate them at all. I just feel like I want it because it's like I said, safety, and I don't want people getting hurt, especially the kids and all that stuff. So that's the whole issue for it. Like I can't even legally do anything when a trans woman goes into the bathroom. I've only had one instance where a trans man went to the bathroom with me, but like I said, I'm a guy. I can fend myself off against a trans man if something were to happen. So
Thanks, Leo. Elijah, let me show you how to simplify this prompt. Hey, Ms. Meany, welcome up. I think I remember you, but can we get your age again?
Thanks for welcoming. I'm 28.
Good deal. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Tonight's topic is about third space bathrooms and the great transgender bathroom war of 2026. Do you think that third space bathrooms are a solution or just a circular argument?
No, I think it's a power grab.
Oh, go ahead and elaborate on that a bit. Then we'll go into open panel.
Yeah, because if you can make like a small population do something, it's easier to make like another small population, like minority group, do the same. It's like taking the rights away from one group. Once I conquer that, I can do it to a bigger group, and so on and so on.
In this case, who is losing their rights?
We can't talk about race, right?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so in this specific situation, do you think that if we added third space bathrooms to every facility in the entire United States, would trans-identified individuals limit themselves to either third-party spaces or spaces aligned with their biological sex, or would they still go into these spaces segregated to the opposite sex?
I think they'll do what they want to do. Because, like, how could you stop? Like, how would you know who is who?
Okay. I tend to agree that it's a circular argument. It's just kicking the can down the road. All right, guys. Once again, don't talk about race. Don't use the word cis. We can use adult language. Obviously, don't use any slurs and don't make any direct threats. The panel is now open. Ouch. The fuck?
Okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I had a phone call. What did she say earlier ago? I'm sorry, ma'am. I had a phone call.
You have to ask her.
Hey, Miss Me. How are you, ma'am?
I'm awesome. How are you?
What did you just say? Sum it up real quick. I'm so sorry. I had a phone call.
About what exactly? I said a lot.
What you just said about the prompt. Just sum it up real quick. Do you agree or disagree? How do you feel?
There's
You feel like
circular argument. Yeah, I think it can be a circular argument because I didn't necessarily answer that, but I'll answer that. I think it could be a circular argument because it leads back to like I feel like it goes back to like once you dumb everything down, how can you know who's trans or not? And then like when you go into that, you go into like putting people in boxes. But then that doesn't work because no one's monolithic. So it's just like, yeah.
well, so here's the issue, right? And I feel like this is why I feel like third spaces. Do you feel like third space bathrooms would solve a solution? Let me ask you that just as basic. This is how we're gonna find our ground here. Do you feel like third space bathrooms are essentially a solution? Yes or no?
No, not at all. I think it's a power grab. Essentially, if you can take away the rights from a small minority group, you can do it to the next, and so on and so on.
Well, I mean, but didn't a tiny group of men, trans-identified males, take away the rights of all women, which is like 50% of the population? I just really don't think that these analogies make sense when you have 1% of the population like invading the spaces of a huge group of people. It's not like, yeah, like trans people are oppressed. Trans people are literally harming women every single day, going into their bathrooms, their grape shelters, their prisons. Like, y'all are not oppressed at all. And it's not like we need to build a third space, and we don't need to. These spaces are not supposed to be based on expression. Human expression is diverse. Yeah, there's so many different ways people express themselves, but you know what? Male and female are constant and unchangeable. And these spaces are supposed to be based on that, which means all of the male crossies can just go into the men's where we belong.
Exactly. And not only that, but like you also do understand that they're actually essentially trans women, especially especially trying to take out rights for women and their actual sports. So it's like
trans women are not a special class of men. They're just men oppressing women.
I know that's the issue. And
so it sounds like propaganda.
How?
Now, what's propaganda is the idea that in any way wearing dresses, expressing yourself, modifying your body has made you a woman. It has not. That is propaganda.
And
Would
now
you
I
like
got
me
so
to
the guilt.
answer why I think it's propaganda?
Okay, go
You're
ahead.
welcome to, but like it's not.
Okay. So it's propaganda because at large in real life this is not happening. You only see a lot. Well, it's statistically proven. It's just circulating this image of trans people being overtaking such a big population when they're only represent.
You went out. What did you say at the end? You went out, Miss, ma'am.
We'll
Excuse me.
we'll let Mimi get back to it. Let's go ahead and get her intro. Prita Pan. Welcome up. Can I get your age, please?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Good deal. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Tonight's topic is on the great transgender bathroom war of 2026. Do you think third space bathrooms are a solution or a circular argument?
Yeah, so definitely it couldn't be a circular argument because a circular argument saying like a woman is a woman, right? It would be a tautology. So saying third space bathrooms is a solution is just saying like from the place that we're operating from right now in society, the only way we can actually have segregated bathrooms and them actually do the thing that we claim they should do, which is right, protect women and children, right? I think that's the main thing, right? Would be if we also have the third spaces in place, because otherwise, if you're afraid of people just walking in saying, "Hi, I'm a woman," you can't really check for that. You can't check people's genitals, right? The same way that if we did the SMEC segregated bathrooms, well, now anybody can walk into the women's bathroom and just say they're a trans man. You still can't check their genitals. So it doesn't solve the problem. Again, I think the only thing that would truly solve it on both ends, where trans people have a safe, comfortable place they can use the bathroom and everybody else also feels safe and comfortable, is if we have the bathroom laws in conjunction with the third spaces.
Thank you.
Bathroom laws with bathroom spaces?
With third spaces, yeah, because without the third spaces, trans people don't have a place to use the bathroom in public. Or if we normalize them using the bathroom that they don't align with, it's going to normalize seeing people who look like every other dude in the women's bathroom. And I don't think that's beneficial for society or for women and children's safety.
Okay, so I was asking, did you say law as well?
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing these laws in places like Texas and Florida.
Oh, okay. So you mentioned both. I just didn't hear that first part. Okay.
Yeah, no, because we're already operating from where we're at, right? If we're already seeing these laws in place, I just think we need the third space as well. Otherwise, it's not actually solving the problem.
I mean, I think it's just like it's the beginning of Jim Crow again, but we can't talk about those things. If you can make a small minority group segregate, you can do that to other minority groups that aren't as big as that. It just opens up the door. Once the door is open, then it's open.
My God. Okay, so let me ask you here, man. All right, so let me say this, right? Me personally, right? At the end of the
So
day,
since we're talking about voting, I'm sorry, not voting, but that is where I was going. So those laws have been changed also.
okay. Well, yes and no, because Tennessee still technically has it where it's a law where trans people can
Yeah,
go
but
to
the
bathrooms.
door is being open. That's the analogy I'm making, right? Jim Crow.
Okay.
Okay, so we could basically shut the door, and the way we shut the door is we reverse all the sex markers based on the historical documentation and the trail of evidence changing the documents, and then you criminalize males being in female spaces and females being in male spaces, allow people to challenge those trans-identified individuals when they're clocked, and then send them to jail. Break a few eggs, system changes.
That's against our constitutional right. Another citizen shouldn't be able to require ID from you.
Constitutional. You don't have the Constitution. They can call the cops, and the cops can require ID on you.
One of those
All
rights
they have
would
to
be
do
the
is
right.
call the cops, say there's a man in the women's bathroom,
one of those
and then
rights,
the cops can show up and check your ID and be like, "Oh my God, you were in the women's bathroom.
One of those
Let's
rights
charge
would be
him." Sex crime.
That's fine. One of those rights would be a right to privacy, meaning again, a citizen can't just demand an ID from you. But if you're talking about
they just call the cops. That's literally what I said.
Even if they call the police in certain states, the different laws as to when a police officer is allowed to require ID from you still wouldn't cover that. It would have to be some suspicion of you committing a felony for them to be able to get an ID in Texas.
Okay, so let's just make it a sex crime, a felony level sex crime. Problem solved.
I think that's pretty ridiculous.
So I don't know
Make
how
it
old you
special
guys.
for
I don't
Texas.
know how old you are. But there's already been a time where trans people didn't have the rights that they're trying to take away and that they are taking away, and people made a way. So it's not like you're doing this big thing that hasn't been done before.
Exactly. They will be exactly. Thank you for telling me that they will be fine without invading women's spaces. Thank you. I agree. They will survive. It's not even a genocide. They're going to be just
making
fine.
people go to jail for abortion and stuff like that. They're still going to get abortions.
This is not comparable. Like males invading female
No.
spaces and abortion, not the same.
So what I'm saying is, you can change things. It's still not going to stop people from living their lives.
How about just stop being a fucking
They can go and
tranny?
invade in there, but if
How
they
about you
get
just stop being a
clocked,
fucking
they're
tranny?
gonna fucking pay for it.
What about like
and that's the point.
what about non-trans women who are going to be stopped because they might have masculine features using the bathroom? Do you care about that at all, or is that just like?
No, I don't care, bro. I just feel like you're using those people in this argument.
It doesn't sound practical. Then it doesn't sound like a practical solution in my estimation. If we're just gonna say, oh yeah, so at any time, any person can call the police on you because they think you look too masculine or too feminine, I just think that that's a really ridiculous standard.
I think if there's a man in the women's spaces, women should be able to call the police, and I think women will be able to figure out if it's a man or a woman. I think if a woman approached a female who was just like a butch lesbian, like, oh my god, I think are you a guy in our bathroom? And then she was like, oh no, I'm just a lesbian. I'm pretty sure that's just how it would work out. Like women can recognize each other versus like a 65-year-old HEP cross-dresser in their bathroom.
Yeah, so no, what I'm talking about is like a trans man, for example, if he walked in with a full beard and a lower voice, they're going to call the cops on that dude, and what's going to happen is he's going to probably be arrested the way we've seen happen in Tennessee or in other places where these dudes are just getting arrested. They can lose their job for not showing up at work, right? And then there's going to be a lot of taxpayer money that goes into civil lawsuits they're able to legally file against the state for breaking their constitutional rights. This is why, again, I mention constitutional rights, because this is against them. And you can legally sue.
And so what is also happening is straight people are also accused of being trans, and they're getting beat up in restrooms, and then after they're getting beaten, wore out, and found in the hospital, they're like, oh, wait a minute, they're actually born female.
Show me a case of that.
Are you being intellectually dishonest and saying that that has not happened?
I'd like to see a case of that happening. I'd love to see a case of that happening.
Clearly, you have amnesias for whatever you want and what you do want.
No, I mean, you said this is a thing that's happening. It happens. Show me the evidence. Let's see it.
It's so annoying.
You should be able to Google it.
I can't take the
California. You should be able to Google
Are you from California?
No, but you should be able to Google it, right? Are you too dumb to use Google? You made a claim. Find me proof.
I was also going to say
no personal insult.
Okay, so
example would be Courtney Beauregard.
Where did I ever promise not to call people stupid? I've never made such a promise.
One example would be Courtney Beauregard. That happened to her.
There are many cases. There are cases where this has happened to butch lesbian women. There's cases where this has happened to feminine women that present masculine.
Yeah, Danny Davis in Florida. That's what I did.
Okay, no, that. But I got something else I got to say to Peter as well.
It happened to an older woman before. Caucasian
and the women who beat those women up should be charged, but that doesn't change the fact.
No, they beat them up in the restroom because they think they're trans.
Well, this wouldn't
and they
be
were
a
born
problem.
biologically female.
It wouldn't be a problem if we didn't allow all these men into their bathrooms.
What if the person
was
like
though. That's literally how having you in female spaces impacts female safety and their own social dynamics under a situation where they can no longer trust the safety of their space.
You're setting it up for
Okay, you allow males into a female space, and they can no longer trust that space is for them. They're going to start jumping at anybody who's non-conforming and be scared.
You're right,
How are
but
you going to say
wait,
what they
wait,
did was wrong?
wait.
How are you going to say what
Wait
they
a
did
minute,
was
no,
wrong?
wait.
We shouldn't allow the
How are you
males
going to say
into their
how are you going to
spaces.
say what they did was wrong, but also justify it by saying, "Oh, well, they're scared in their spaces because of you people"? Like that's
They
ridiculous to say
are,
it's wrong,
because
but also
it's true.
then you can't justify it if it's wrong though. That's what I'm saying.
But
I can say
justifying
I
it
can
is that
say that it's wrong and it's tragic that that
okay,
happened,
so
but
but the
also
truth
that it
is,
wouldn't
babe,
be that bad if
but the
trans
truth
people
is,
were not doing what they're doing in society.
but wait a
Because
minute, the
what they're
truth
doing,
is,
don't
wait a minute,
interrupt me. I'm the co-host. Don't interrupt me. What trans people are doing in society is decaying the safety that women have. You have males invading their prisons, their grape shelters, their bathrooms, their locker rooms. You have men masturbating in their private spaces, and that has eroded their sense of safety. And now women look around scared that there's going to be a man behind them in the bathroom. A lot of women do. And of course, that's going to impact.
I mean,
okay, let me say something next.
Non-conforming individuals, just like how feminine gay men are getting shit on by society, and support for gay marriage is falling because trans people have been so against society. They've been driving so hard against society. They've been pissing people off so much that support for the whole community is falling. So not only have you eroded support for the gay community, but then you've eroded women's sense of safety and spaces made for them, which then has a negative impact on non-conforming women, which you raised. That's your fault. And then that also has a negative impact on feminine men who are now immediately conflated with trans and seen as the same thing in our society and abused because people are mad at you
Trade knows the
pussies
difference.
for abusing women and
Y'all want to
grooming
be the
children.
same. All you do is put on a wig. You don't have breasts.
It's trickle down trauma.
Can I please respond to this?
But the truth is when they get rid of the dolls, they're not just going to leave you. They're gonna get you too. You might be at the end, but they're gonna get you also.
I get you, but I want to attack
I'm
the
an
points, right?
American.
Can I please
There's
respond to
no
what you're
way
saying?
that any of these changes would impact my life
number
at
6,
all.
are you fucking kidding?
Oh, babe.
None of these changes, none of the changes I advocate for would impact my life at all because I do not use female spaces. I do not think that I'm a woman. I do not live like a delusional crossy. Okay, none of them impact me. This is why I'm sick of you trans people. You destroyed your own movement. You took and you took and you took. You took from women endlessly, which were gay men and feminine men's original ally. You pissed off our original ally. You drove a wedge in between the LGB and the T on your own. That's y'all's doing by being fucking crazy trans people going around in society saying you have periods, invading grape shelters, invading women's prisons. And now this is the fucking backlash. Thanks for giving me a 1-minute monologue. None of you need to be in women's spaces. You can get fucked and get the fuck over it. Man the fuck up and do the right thing. We're gonna fucking criminalize it and force you to do the right thing eventually.
Alrighty. So yeah, like I was saying.
Wow.
When they get rid of the dolls, they're not just going to leave you. And the gag that you're going to have is going to be fierce because you think they're just going to be like, oh, you can stay because you're feminine and gay. No, the straight heterosexual white men are going to say, you got to go just like the trannies.
Oh my God. Okay, so you also do understand. Where did she
You
go?
just said a slur, and you can come back up, and whenever that freak host says so.
Devontae, can we get your age, please?
Devontae, I'm 24. Are you going to interrupt me the whole time?
Maybe. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Tonight's topic is on the great transgender bathroom war of 2026. Are third space bathrooms a solution, or will people continue to use whatever bathroom they want?
I hope that third bathroom solutions would be something beneficial, but yeah, I mean, if people still use those bathrooms, then we're going to need security guards outside of the women's restroom.
Okay. So your solution, you're saying it's just kicking the can down the road?
I don't think that a third space would do anything because the majority of trans like the majority of people that are actually trans will use it, and that's way less of a percentage of the people that are self-ID, which are probably paraphiliacs. So
Good
Well,
point.
so
Once again, guys, don't discuss race. Don't use the word cis. We can use adult language on this panel. Obviously, don't use any slurs and don't make direct threats. It is open.
here's the issue with people that I kind of have with people. It's like, um, it's obviously men, right? But the issue is that most trans women, and I mean most trans women, you can literally tell that they're actually men. You can tell that they transition. It's the jaw or it's usually the voice. It's one of the two you can tell.
well, that's
And
another thing, is that like there's 1% of the population that identifies as trans, but there's 0.06% that have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and that is a rare like dysphoric condition that affects very little of the population, and so this is just social contagion.
yeah, but also not only that, but like this shit, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This shit was like, this is the pro I got two things I'm gonna say here. One, I understand about the gender dysphoria stuff and all that stuff, but the issue is that this shit was not happening because I actually just came to my college class, and I literally just had people talking about they were queer. Like literally, when I was in high school, people were not saying they were fucking queer. I don't know where this shit was coming from. Like
No,
nowadays, people are
literally,
like,
me neither. It's a social contagion, just like autism, PTSD, all that stuff, which is so unfortunate because there are so many people that are affected by those conditions.
no, I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like these things. I didn't even know what the fuck it was because like queer, I didn't know what the hell that shit was until people started saying this shit was in my damn class. They
No,
were saying how they identified.
what I'm saying is that like you didn't know, and like there are a lot of conditions that those people are trying to mimic, and that's my whole point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said because it's just that's the issue that I'm having today. And then you also do understand that most people, like I would say, like half the trans aren't even on hormones. So people, when they talk about a trans woman being on hormones, half of them aren't even on hormones.
Well, let me tell you, so like, and excuse me, I'm about to open a drink because I need one to talk about this shit. But so, okay, the percentage of people with gender dysphoric disorder or people who are trans, that's how they track it, is 1%. And that's the same percentage of people who have schizophrenia, who have other mental disorders, but it's less than the amount of people who have borderline personality disorder, who have any personality disorder, who have anxiety disorders, or who have depression disorders. It is that little. It is 0.6%. But now there are 40% of those people self-identifying themselves as trans people, and they want to go in the women's restroom, they want to go in the women's changing room. And I'm like, maybe if it were people who were diagnosed, maybe if it were people who were a part of this community, but it's not.
I know people are putting an act on it. They're saying these things and acting like it is. That's why I'm against it because, like I said, this is the safety issue I don't understand because you don't know what a trans woman or a trans man's actually intentions
No,
are.
exactly. You don't
That's
know.
that's why I tell people this because this is the issue. It's a safety issue. It has nothing to do with you being gay, being lesbian, whatever the hell you want to call it, or trans. It's just I don't. It's more of a safety issue. I could care less because, like I said, I legally can't do anything because I say this, but I'm a first responder myself, right? But I've seen actual, like I said, I've seen trans men go in the bathroom with me, but I've never seen a trans woman before do it. But like, I couldn't technically do anything about it because one, I wouldn't own whatever the hell I'm at. Two, if it was my private property, I could do it, but I could also get sued for discrimination. So it's kind of ridiculous how it is. I really feel like it's more, it should just be separate to be like unisex or whatever the hell it is. But people don't want to do that and they call it segregation. It's not something about being a Jim Crow.
No, it's crazy. Like, honestly, because you guys, you do so much. Like, I've definitely utilized like the EMS services. I have some medical issues, so I really appreciate you guys, like the EMS who transport and, you know, do IVs, all of that stuff. Like I think that you guys are wonderful. But those trans people, they just want to villainize like healthcare workers and make them feel like they're nothing. And I'm like, I've literally had an EMS worker save my life, and like that is a deep memory. And like I'm drunk right now, so I'm gonna say it, but like that is a deep memory that is harsh. Like that is scary. Like these people want to completely like nullify like extreme conditions and extreme procedures.
And this is the problem. I feel like I said, I feel like this shit has been pushed out to the point where, like you said, everyone's acting it out. Because, like I said earlier ago, people weren't doing this shit 10 years ago, where they were saying they were queer and all this other shit. People weren't saying they were queer in my class.
Holly, how
No, and
do we fix this so it's not boring?
oh,
How do we?
I don't know. I
we
can talk about
we
my
need to
high
change
school having
backdrop
like
and try to
a.
get some more ops.
I'm sorry, talking about your high school doesn't make it less boring than me talking about like people who have died from
No,
this
all
stuff.
of the ops got dropped, I think.
You
I
want
just
to do
don't
The
want
one
it to.
because
I just don't
because
want
he
it to
said
be
a
a
slur.
spiral through the. Is that what happened? Oh dear.
You want to do consent?
I love
You want to
consent.
do the fish, don't you?
Where's
The
the
fish is an ender, Holly. The fish is an ender because it upsets women.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be called a fish. Like, I have,
Yeah,
like,
I'm allowed to call trans-identified females fish. It's an insulting term for women. They're delusional women who think that they're men. Like, women go around saying the most heinous shit to the men that think that they're women. I'm allowed to be a little mean to
I
the tips, and I'm going
agree.
to call them fish, and I'm going to tell them that they're still giving fish. I'm going to point out that their eye spacing is very feminine and that they have very large eyes, and that it gives me uncanny valley. When I look at them, no matter how masculine or muscular they get, when I look at their eyes, I just see a woman.
Wait,
the
but
kindness
like,
in
who
her
are you?
eyes.
Who are you calling fish? Like trans women?
No, trans men.
Me. I call myself fish all the time. I'm like, damn, looking
Because
fish.
I'm not saying that trans women are valid or anything. I'm just saying that like you call like trans men like fish.
Yeah, they give fish.
Yeah, because we're women.
Yeah, they're genuine women. They always give fish, no matter what
Yeah,
they
but
do,
that's
no
not
matter how
really
much
the.
testosterone they take or how muscular they
I
get.
see
When I
what
look into
I
their
see what
eyes,
you're
I
doing.
just
I see
get
what you're
genuine
doing.
fish.
I see what you're doing, and you're trying to like completely like negate all the arguments that were made about this situation. And you obviously don't have a lot of respect for women if you are gonna do that. I mean, I don't care how much makeup you wear or how much like you try to dress like a woman, you're never gonna be one. So
No
It's so
shit, I'm a
funny because he
man.
knows exactly what he is, what he's always
What?
been, and what he's always will be,
Oh
regardless
god,
of
this
oh
woman.
my lord. What was that, bruh?
Elijah,
Like,
she immediately played the victim. Oh,
that's a
you
fish.
obviously
Fish,
hate women. Oh,
fish.
you know what? I do genuinely hate some women, though. Those handmaidens
fucking
that come at me on the streets. When I do those, like, sports awareness initiative things, when I, like, go out and debate at the farmers markets, or I'm educating people about the ballot initiative to protect women's sports or to protect parental rights, and I get those handmaidens in my face that are like, shame, 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 or they scream at me, or like all of my guys have to wear body cameras because I have a group of guys, right? And we go out and advocate for women and for women's rights. We sign people up for ballot measures. We go out and we protect women when they put on events. I got all these guys, right? Every single one of them has to wear a camera, but they don't just have to wear a camera in case they run into trans people and the trans people attack them. They also have to wear a camera in case they run into a liberal woman Because if they run into a liberal woman will accuse them of something, like they got handsy with them, or they were getting in their way, or they were aggressive, when all they were doing was like going, ma'am, would you like a pamphlet with information about the ballot initiative coming up this year to protect women's sports? And all it's going to do is have the doctors check a box on the paperwork when they go in for a physical, and then they'll use that for the sports, and then the Karen will accuse them of getting violent or aggressive or harassing them. So yeah, some women can get shit. I'm an egalitarian. If you are shit, you get shit. And I don't care if you have a vajayjay or a peen. You will get shit on if you are shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
She
Tyler.
rage quit.
I'm sad about that. But
She
I'm
tried.
also sad that we have 30 people in this live and only
She
3
tried
of
to
us
tell
are
me
on
no
panel.
matter how much makeup I wear, I'll never be a woman. It's like, girl, I do not give a fuck.
I was like, he knows. Hello?
That was where I kind of tuned back in. I just got done putting my kiddos to bed.
You met me?
I was like, that's kind of the whole point of this conversation.
Literally, I just got done doing street journalism protecting a female reporter while she did a bunch of sketchy shit. Like today. Like, this is what I do for a living. I hate women.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna pop a restart, but do we want to do this
Holly,
prompt?
I'm not a doormat, so I hate women.
Do we want to do this prompt, or do we want to do this prompt?
Which one? Oh, I think the Where is the Limit is a great one.
Where is the limit?
All right, everybody in chat, I will be back up within a minute, so make sure you're following. I'm going to come right back in with this prompt up. We're going to end in 15 seconds. Make sure you follow.
Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7. 3, 2, ABC.
Oh, she was drunk. We might make up later. I'm not going to hold any animosity. You're right. Yeah, and Dad, I was out doing stuff with a female reporter today. Actually, I posted about it on Twitter. No, he's gonna come back in a minute. So what you have to do sometimes, because people get flagged over time.
All right, TikTok. So we did
the live
pop
and
a
it stops
restart
getting
to
promoted, and
open
there's
up
no
our
way to
new
avoid
topic.
it basically on these
The
discussions
new topic
because
is going
of
to
the
be
gender critical
what is
thing.
the limit and what is
People
the
get
compromise.
really upset. It
This
just
is
gets
to
flagged, so it's
ask
just
people
getting rebooted
if they are against trans
So I'm going
ideology,
back in.
where it stops and what they're willing to negotiate on. If they are proponents of trans ideology, what the absolute goal is and what they're willing to compromise on. So that's what this topic is about, and that's what we will be discussing going forward.
Awesome, we're back here. I'll spam the likes. Let me get that repost out. And actually, let me go grab some coins for.
Woohoo.
All right, so Elijah, I'm going to have you doing the intros. Do you like that idea?
Sure, I'll do my best.
All right, so obviously age rules. This topic about where is the limit, if you're an opponent of the ideology, is where does it stop and what are you willing to negotiate on? If it is you're a proponent of the ideology, if you're for the ideology, what is the best goal and what are you willing to compromise to? Don't worry about the bottom question. Don't worry about the bottom questions. Those are just there.
Huzzah. Stunning.
Yes, good trans people get roses tonight. I just bought some tokens.
Oh my goodness. Why, thank you.
Did you use your fake money to buy the fake money, or did you use real money?
No. I sold some stock recently.
I heard.
Why won't it let me gift? Hold on. Come on, TikTok.
There we go.
Sexy gay cops, get some roses.
I just want a hippo. Give me a hippo.
Everybody
is the
gets a
hippo?
little finger heart from the rain.
What is a hippo?
It's in my gallery. Like when the roses.
I don't know how to look at that.
Oh well, don't worry about it then.
Well, no, tell me how to look at a gallery.
I need 12 roses, and then it'll refresh.
I am so blind. I thought that said 115, but no, it's 125.
Okay, where's the hippo?
Yay! I'll get it to you in a second. Give me a sec. I gotta reset my gift goals.
Hippopotamuses.
What is a hippo? Does it do something special on the screen? I don't think the GIFs are visible on computer, which kind of upsets me because they're really pretty. Maybe I'll do a BlueStack simulator and just connect on my phone on BlueStacks. So I can go in and it'll have the full cell phone effects, but then that won't fit the 9x16 for YouTube. But I could probably fill up the dead space with like my picture and some like information. It would just be more gamey looking.
Hello, new panelists. Can we get your age?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Awesome. The rules of this panel are no discussing race. Do not use the word. Can I speak English? Do not use the word cis, and do not ask stupid questions such as, why can't we use the word cis? Today's topic is, where's the limit? If you're in opposition, if you are against the ideology, where do you draw the line? If you are for the ideology, what are you willing to compromise, if anything, and where do you draw the line? What is the goal?
So I was mostly interested by, because I am myself non-binary, so I was born female, but I don't identify with either one of the gender tropes that we have, or that are mostly like, given to you at birth, right? The main two binaries that exist in gender that we have in tradition. But I was mostly intrigued by the challenging sex and scientific language because, like technology and science are supposed to grow and expand, right? Like they're not supposed to stay the same. Like there are things that we understood in the 1600s, right, when you had Isaac Newton, that have now evolved with the more, scientific research that we have. And same thing goes with biology. I don't think that there's going to be a limit or a threshold that I'm willing to stop scientific knowledge at, because I feel like it's only going to be beneficial for us to have a better understanding of how things work according to our anatomy, right, our reproductive organs, the way our DNA works, all of these different things, because in that you will find cures to things, you will find common ground for most people, and you will find better treatment for people, right? So I don't think that there should be a threshold on like how science should expand. I feel like if science is becoming harmful ethically, that's a different discussion. But I feel like you should never put science in this like box, because it's supposed to expand that box and broaden our horizons of understanding.
Wait, so correct me if I'm wrong, but non-binary is basic. So you said you're a non-binary, so you're a woman who like has internalized sexism and identifies as not a woman because you're atypical?
No, I don't really feel as though the gender binary is very helpful to me as a person. Like, I don't think that it's beneficial for men, women in general. I don't think that it is a positive thing for me to view myself that way. I don't think that, I don't really
For
see
you to view yourself as a woman?
I don't view myself as either. It's the problem. I don't view myself as a woman or a man. I don't think it's beneficial
extra
to
weird
exist
if you viewed yourself as a man, because that would be the
I
opposite.
don't view myself as either, as I'm saying.
But what's the disconnect from being a woman? Like, I mean, you're just
I feel like
masculine woman.
No. I would say I'm more like gender fluid. Like I like to exhibit my gender and however it feels comfortable that day. I mean, people are always going to associate different terms to like No, not a quirky woman. Like
So
I
you just like
don't
dressing.
see myself in womanhood or manhood. Like I don't think that those things are something that I find fulfilling.
Well, you don't dress in womanhood or manhood. That would be pretty sexist to think, right? You just
I
are a
mean, but
woman or a
that's how
man
gender
based on like
binaries work.
how
Like
you were
when you look at
born
like,
and if you're an
I mean,
adult, and then like expression is expression, but like you don't
right,
dress in womanhood or manhood. No woman gets up and puts on her womanhood. She just walks around in her body, and no man gets up and puts on his manhood. We just
right.
walk around in our bodies.
No, I understand that, but like I think that like when you look at the history of the verbiage concerning like woman and man, especially when it roots back to like English, like a lot of that, you know, language, there's a specific word, etymology, is like very rooted in sexist, like, you know, thinking. And so like I don't think that you can separate, me personally, I'm not saying this applies to everyone, these gender binaries from their roots in patriarchy, their roots in sexism, their roots in trying to establish a dichotomy, right? Because that is
So
what
would
we've
you
had for
give
decades,
adult
right?
human
Before
females a new
feminism.
word then, as someone who identifies as
Sorry,
an
can you repeat that question? I didn't hear the
anti-sexist?
beginning of that.
Would you just give adult human females a new word as someone who identifies as an anti-sexist? Or are you saying that thinking about there being differences between males and females is sexist? Because I
No, I
think
don't
that
think
like
that's sexist. I mean, I think there
because
are
there are
definite
fundamental
changes in sexes, right?
differences,
But like
right? And there's fundamental like
sexes are
reasons females should be protected in society and things like that, right? Like
I
there are
mean, yeah, of course, I'm not
differences.
against any of that, but like I think that like
So then what do we call this
when you view things in
category
this
of
way, like for
human
example,
beings
just to say it
that
real quickly, like the scientific language around sex has evolved not because of people being trans, but because there has been millions of people throughout the world that have experienced not
okay, but
having
like
typical chromosomes, right?
you're
So
going
like
on
that is
this
separate
long
from
political
any gender ideology. That's
I
just
get it.
sexual
Non-binary is a
biology.
hardcore
Let's get our new
sociopolitical
guest
identity,
in,
but could
guys.
you answer the question though? What do
No,
you
I'm
call
not
this
going to
group
Get
of
go
our
into
new
this
guest in,
humans?
entire
guys.
like
If you're
rant
not
that
gonna
Get
you
our
call
new
them
guest in,
women,
guys.
what do you
it's
call
not that
them?
complicated to understand. Like
Get our new
Hello.
guest
Call
in,
them
guys.
though.
Elijah, you're up.
Yes, hello, new panelists. Sorry for the delay. Can we get your age, please? Ramming.
Oh, sorry, mate. 52. So I didn't know you were talking to me.
Awesome. So the rules of this
So,
panel are: do not discuss
I'm
race,
so torn.
do not
I'm
use the
so
word
torn.
cis, and do not ask stupid questions such as "Why can't we use the word cis?" Today's topic is transgender ideology, and you know where the limit is in that. If you're an opponent,
No, I'm sorry, but I really enjoyed that conversation. I'm sorry to interrupt. I do that sometimes. But the reason I want to go to
You can do it on another panel. Continue. Open panel.
but yeah, you know, like I don't understand why you're like conflating like our better understanding of how sexes work, right? Because like there has been millions of people in this world that have experienced not having typical XX or XY chromosomes, right? And so like when biologists
There's
tell you
only
that
two
like sex is
sexes in the
becoming
human
more of a
race.
spectrum, they're not saying to you that like
There's only two
XX and
sexes
XY
in
is
the
now
human
no
race.
longer a thing, right? Like just listen to what I'm saying to you before you respond to an argument, right? Like they're not saying that to you. What they're saying is that there are more nuances to these things that we understood prior, right? And so like before, for example, just to give you a different example of a different field of science, psychology. People would think that people who display, especially women, right? Because medicine has had a history
Lady,
of
you're
being
gonna have to be
sexist.
quicker than this because like you are going on and on and on. Do you want me to address the point of you bringing up DSTs before you move on to whatever you're moving on to now?
I mean, sure, if you have an actual biological argument.
The point I would bring up would be that they're all male or female. There is no intersex. There are a whole bunch of different people with DSTs, but they're all either male or female. Also, even if there was some random anomaly that's less than 1% of the human population, we don't structure our society around that. We don't structure our entire language around an anomaly. We structure our language around the majority, and there are two sexes. male and female, and the word we use for adult human female is woman. And earlier you said that the word woman is fundamentally rooted in sexism and misogyny and the patriarchy, and you don't believe there's any way to detach the word from all of those things. And so I'm asking you, what do we call this category of humans that you agree is fundamentally different from adult human males and requires a measure of safeguarding in our
But call them
society?
women, if that's what they
It's
want to
called, so
call
we're
them.
going to call them women. We're
Right,
just,
but like
okay.
what I'm saying to you
Okay,
is like you
cool.
can't ignore. Like I'm not saying that to just you're just misconstruing my words. I don't think that you should completely dissolve the identity of womanhood or like womanhood as a whole. Right, being a woman is very fundamental to our society. I'm not saying dismantle that because that's just personally I don't identify with it, but that doesn't mean that other people can't. Right, and so like what I'm saying to you is like we have to recognize why we have those dichotomies to begin with beyond just sex and what they mean colloquially in society. Like it's not just a biological argument at that point. It's more of a normative argument, right? Like it's more discussing how that develops in our society through practices, through, you know, different, how it impacts legislation even, right? Because you see a disproportionate amount of, you know, violence globally towards women, right? Because of the way that our bodies are being viewed. And that is like something that is, I think, should be addressed, but we have to root it in like what this word was used for and where it came from. Like you can't solve an issue that women have been dealing with without facing on the things that have caused that issue.
Okay, and you feel like you're facing them on by abandoning woman and being they them?
I mean, I just feel as though like I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say to you. Like I don't really like having people like assume things of me because of my appearance, regardless of how I appear, right? And so like when people look at me, they assume woman. They have like I've been catcalled several times. Most women have to deal with that. Most women have to be asked invasive questions about their sexuality, being asked, you know, so many things. And so I feel as though like I feel like I don't want to claim something, a term that has been used derogatorily towards me and in society for decades, for centuries at this point, right? And so like that's a me
Okay,
thing.
yeah, so you're saying that like because of trauma you're disassociated from being a woman and you prefer to consider yourself not a woman.
Just a human
But not
being.
a man
That's nothing
either.
more.
Okay, wait.
Like it's
Okay,
not that.
Yeah, let me go ahead and
That
get
makes
caught
sense.
in.
That's
Caught,
what I thought
welcome back.
non-binary was.
Caught, welcome
Yeah.
back. Just to remind you, we don't
Yo.
discuss race. We don't use the word cis. We don't ask stupid questions. The topic is about where is the limit. Are you for or against trans ideology?
Against.
Hey, Stacey, I'll be right with you. You said against? Okay, so
Yeah.
for you, what is the absolute most you'd be willing to do, and are you willing to negotiate? Would you have a problem with a man wearing a dress?
No.
Would you call a man, Jesus Christ, would you call a man wearing a dress she, her?
No. That's my cutoff.
Is that a negotiation at all, or is that your hard cutoff? What if
It's my hard cutoff.
what if this man wearing a dress is really, really pretty and looks just like a woman?
I'm sorry, sir, but sir.
All right, there you go. Stacy, thank you for that. On this panel, we don't discuss race, religion, or excuse me, we don't discuss race. We don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Can I get your age, please?
25. You said we can't talk about religion?
No, we can talk about religion. It's fine. I got trained on a different panel. Are you for or against trans ideology?
I'm a Christian, so I'm absolutely against that bullshit.
Okay. So for you, it's going to be, what is the limit and where are you willing to negotiate? Is it okay if a man wears a dress?
I don't really care about the gay people because, like, that just means they like the same sex. So, like, a man in a dress is kind of weird, but it has nothing to do with me.
Would you be willing to call that man in a dress she, her, if the individual was really, really pretty?
Dude.
What if they had some boobs? What if they had long hair? What if they had their pee-pee chopped off and replaced with a hole?
It's a dude, mental illness, dude.
All right, guys, don't discuss race. Don't use the word cis. We can use adult language. Don't use any slurs. Don't make any personal attacks. Well, and you know what? I take that back. Try to attack the argument and not the individual, but, you know, stand up for yourself.
Wait, host.
God, what was I trying to say? Oh, yeah, don't use slurs. Don't make any direct threats. That's what I was going for.
Host.
Open panel.
Host, tell me why transgender women, they're the most misogynistic.
Okay, so Sarah, I think her name
Do
is.
I look like a trans person to you? I don't fucking know.
I'm trans, and I can tell you it's because they're men.
You're trans?
No, it's just because the entire ideology is based on sexism. And then also, like, transgenderism was basically thought up by, like, autogynephilic cross-dressers in the 70s and 80s. It is literally, like, an ideology that was cooked up by sociologists, transvestites at conventions around
I feel
FFS.
bad. I
The
feel bad
father
at
of
the women.
transgenderism literally invented it to detach gender expression from the stigma that homosexuals face. Like, that was the purpose and design. Like, it is based on sexism. It was designed by very sexist autogynephiles like 50 years
I think
ago.
that's very disingenuous because I feel like you're understanding that issue only in English vernacular. Like, you're not understanding that culturally in any other regard.
So see, no. I'm the
doesn't matter.
transphobic historian. So the way I look at trans is I start first. I look at trans as the system of medicalization and the ideologies that have led to what we have today. That started in the early 20th century in the Weimar Republic. That's where it started. Prior to that, we had non-conforming people throughout history, various different demographics of people who are non-conforming for various different reasons in various different societies. We had third categories for them in some of those societies, and some of them we didn't. And some of them they were heavily persecuted, and some of them they weren't. We didn't have a system of medicalization. We didn't have a mythos of unaliving if they didn't get these kinds of body mutilation surgery. So I don't like to conflate these things. What transgenderism is an evolution, a branch off of transsexualism that occurred at a specific point in our history. It was in the 70s and the 80s. Prior to that, we had transsexualism, which was the brainchild of Magnus Hirschfeld, Havelock Ellis, Ludwig Levi-Lenz, and all of the doctors that subscribed to eugenicists and in eugenics in the Weimar Republic at the peak of liberalism before the swing to fascist Nazism. That's where this came from, right? And so, like, it's disingenuous for you to go, oh, that you're not taking into account all the cultures and the historical context. No, we're talking about a very specific thing. When I say transgenderism, I'm talking about the construct that exists today from now to where it started. And where it started, transgender, that word, is in the 1970s.
Yeah,
Really,
I mean, the terms are coined.
think about it.
There are terms, like, for example, like the
Trans
Two-Spirit
men
term was
you don't
coined in
see
the
trans men
1990s, right? But
mocking
like,
men,
Spirit was
yes,
created in the 1990s.
1990s, correct, exactly. It was coined. The terminology was coined in the 1990s, and all these different terms in English vernacular, in English
We
culture.
have words for non-conforming people. We don't have an ideology of unaliving that requires medicalization. That is modern 20th century stuff.
Well, yeah, of course,
Okay,
but you
so-
have that in just
so-
other regards too, not even regarding the gender, right? Like, we have, especially now, better methods of handling people for different varying reasons, not all of them regarding gender or sexuality.
I don't think it's
For
better
sexuality,
to be
but, like,
mutilating people's bodies who are non-conforming just because they're mentally unwell. I wouldn't say that's
but
better.
Would you say then we should have laws regarding plastic surgeries for people who are not seeking gender conforming care, right? But feel as though that this is something that would make them more fulfilled in their lives.
I would
We
say
should
that
look into
conflating plastic surgery done electively is entirely different. When, like, conflating that with medicalization, with a system that says, hey, this is your problem, this is your diagnosis, and the treatment are these things. We're going to consider this valid medical intervention. It's going to be covered by insurance. That's entirely different than a dude going on a plastic surgeon market and getting a boob job randomly. It's entirely different. These are two different things. One of these things is a system that's treated as a valid condition and a treatment, and the other is elective body modification. I don't care about elective body modification. I've never said a goddamn thing about elective body modification, but that's not what we have.
Can I ask you clearly, like, what scientific basis do you have to make the argument that it's unethical? Because like you would have to give
Oh,
me
I mean, I would say
an
it's
argument based on the
unethical because
science.
we don't do this with any other mental illness. There's no other mental illness where you have a disassociative or a delusional state in an individual, and what the doctor does is affirm the delusional state and then modify the body to match the delusion. And with no other mental health condition do we do that. We don't do it with anorexia. We don't do it with bulimia. We don't do it with schizophrenics. There's no other delusional state that anybody can have except for a man thinking he's a woman or a woman thinking he's a man, where the doctors will affirm the delusion and modify the body. Why don't we do this with anything else? Why isn't it considered ethical to tell Eugenia Cooney that she's fat and give her lipo?
Right. I don't think that like I feel like people do, especially in therapy, because I've been in therapy for BPD, like you are affirmed in the sense that your feelings and your realities are heard. Like you are heard by that person, and that's taken very seriously. The treatment regarding that though is going to be able to get that individual in a state where they're able to think more rationally about that feeling, right? To be able to think logically of that feeling. Like the point of having these professionals there is to go through your thoughts and your feelings, which are very real and true to you, and try to explore how they exist in reality, right? In terms of, logically, what can we do to solve this issue? And so it's
But
like,
not,
I think that
why
it's
do they
disingenuous
feel
to say
this
that.
way? But like when you say, what can we do to solve this issue? What you're talking about is what can we do to bring their body in alignment with their delusion? When I say, what can we do to solve this issue? I'm talking about doing exploratory therapy, understanding exactly where the feeling comes from, and then treating it so it goes away, not modifying the body to the delusional state.
Right, but let's say, for example, I don't know, like if somebody had something like for example, a chemical burn, right? That literally causes their mental state to collapse in some regard. There's many women that deal with that with
But
acid
that's
rain.
a
It's something that
physical
happens.
thing that's very real damage to a body,
Yeah,
right?
but
Like this is not the same
having
thing as a delusional belief that you're a woman in a man's body or a man in a woman's body, or that you need these kinds of interventions. That's not the same thing. It's just like saying that would be like comparing it to someone who has a traumatic injury that leaves a scar, which is what you did, like somebody who got hurt in an essay or
right,
something,
right.
and now they have psychological torment. That's far more valid than trans. That's far more valid because now
But
you have an
my
observable
biggest
physical
issue though
harm that's causing
with this,
psychological torment versus a
yeah,
non-existent condition.
right, and you could disagree with this, right? But I think that when you look at like the evidence behind what people in trans bodies, how they react to having the treatment that they require versus not, I mean, the data is quite astounding, right? And so it's like, if there is no better treatment that you could provide yourself as an individual right now as an argument, I don't understand why you're going against the one treatment that doesn't even work for everybody, right?
Wait,
Not
so
every
you're
trans
saying
person
that
is
the
going to
data
go
that
down
Let me
this
get
that
off
road.
the
works
end,
is so
guys. Let me get
astounding that
off
it
the end, guys.
justifies the human experimentation, huh?
Let me get my new
sorry?
guest in. Alfie, welcome up. Welcome up. Welcome up. Could I get your age, please?
I am 28.
Thank you. I am Stutters. Nice to meet you. On this panel, we don't
Hello.
discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Are you for or against trans ideology?
I mean, it's not ideology, but I would say that I'm pro-trans people.
Okay, in that case, for these questions, what is the utopian state and where are you willing to compromise? So, can a man wear a dress?
Sure. Why wouldn't they?
Would you call a man wearing a dress she, her?
I mean, if they want to be called she, her, yeah.
Okay, would you call her a woman?
If she's a woman, yeah.
Would you call her a female?
I mean, if she carries biological markers that would align her with such, sure.
You willing to compromise on any of those?
I mean, I think those are reasonable points. I don't see where there would be a need to compromise on any of those things.
So the answer is no. All right, open panel.
I originally requested up because I heard someone use the term delusion, and I think that that's interesting. And I'm really curious as to where they feel justified in saying that, when our current understanding of psychology doesn't support that position, that being trans is delusional.
I would personally disagree with the delusion as well, but I have a totally different view on it. I believe that would probably be transphobic historian. You there, TPH?
Yeah, no, I think that any man that thinks that he's a woman in any capacity is delusional. Any woman that thinks that she's a man in any capacity would be delusional.
See, I would just say
Okay.
that they're deceptive.
So that
Well, if they
wouldn't align
truly
with
believe,
any.
if they truly believe that they're the opposite and that's completely disconnected from reality, like that's pretty delusional.
Not what delusion is referring to. So when if you're talking about an internal reality that you have, like, that's not delusional. You can't have a delusion about like an internal perception. And when somebody's saying that they feel like a man or they feel like a woman, they're stating an internal perception of themselves.
It's pretty delusional. You can't
Your
feel like a
feelings
man or
cannot-
a woman.
Like, your internal perception
It's
cannot
not
be
possible
delusional.
to feel like a man or a woman. Those are just some things you objectively are.
I think you need to tell what's the girl's name? Dang, I can't think of her name. The country singer lady. It was like Sheila or something. What's her name?
In my worldview, you always either are objectively a man or a woman. If you're an adult human, you're one or the other. If you think or feel that you are the other, like that's
Shania
just
Twain.
delusional. It's not real.
I think you need to tell Shania Twain that you can't feel like a woman because she made a whole song about how she felt like a woman. So,
Well, I mean, yeah, but like that's probably a bunch of sexism. I mean, if you actually take the lyrics, it's probably just a bunch of things she's associating with womanhood. Unless she's talking about like her biological reality. I don't remember the lyrics of that song. I've heard it before though. I mean, great song, admittedly, but like let's be real. Like I'm
How do
sorry,
you know
but
it's a great
there's
song if you
none
don't
of
even know
that
what the lyrics
stuff.
are?
Because I don't
Maybe you
remember
should
the
look up
lyrics
the
of
song
every
instead of
song I
commenting on it
listen
then.
to. I don't remember the lyrics of every song I listen to, but there's no feeling like a woman or feeling like a man. You just are.
And how are you going
One
to
or
tell
the
women? Are you
other.
a woman? How are you going to tell that woman that she doesn't
Well, I
feel
mean,
like
what are
a
they
woman
going to be
is?
associating with women? Like,
Yeah,
I don't get that.
if you listen to the song, she talks about the different things she associates with her experience of being a woman. And how can you tell her that she cannot feel like a woman when she's experiencing those things?
Well, I don't think that they have anything to do with womanhood, though. If like, I mean, unless it's like
How are you going to tell
specific
her that that's not how
physical
she experiences
things.
her
Was
womanhood?
is it about pregnancy or periods or something specific to women?
No, because she's not a misogynist.
Okay, so it's not about something specific to women, but she's associating that with her existence
It's
as a
about
woman.
her experiences as a woman and the things
Here,
that
let
make
me
her
go look
feel
up
like a
the
woman.
lyrics since you're gonna make this about Shania Twain.
No, it's not about Shania Twain specifically. It's about.
Okay, sir. Hang on a second.
Hold up a second, Alfie. Ari, you're in charge. If you bring people up when and whenever you feel like it, you're in charge now.
It's not about Shania Twain specifically. It's about the fact that different women have different experiences and can definitely feel like a woman outside of being trans. So why are you talking about trans people when they feel like a
Well,
woman
because
or
they
feel like a
can't
man?
feel like a woman. It's not possible.
Yes, they can. If we
don't think
non-trans people
I
can
don't think they
experience it.
can.
Well, you'd be
Well,
wrong.
you're trans.
Psychology doesn't support that.
Well, you're trans, right?
Who told you that?
You
Why are you
sound
assuming
like
I'm
a
trans?
trans-identified male. I
Okay,
assumed
well,
you're a
you'd be incorrect.
trans-identified male. I'm incorrect?
I'm a woman, so
I don't believe that, sir.
okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
Okay.
How do you know
I
you're a
couldn't
woman?
care less.
How do you know you're a woman?
I know that I'm a woman because I have an identity that is persistent and wanting to be perceived as a woman.
That crossy voice, though.
That sounds very subjective. Is there ways to refer to yourself?
It's an internal experience. Of course, it's subjective. It's like asking somebody, how do you know you're an artist? Like everybody's internal feelings of like how they identify with a specific identity is going to be different.
Well, I could say I know I'm an artist because I drew a picture. Now, whether or not people think that that is good
Okay,
art
night,
or bad
Cynthia.
art is subjective, but I can say objectively I am an artist because I drew a picture.
Drawing a picture doesn't necessarily make someone an artist, though, because almost everyone has drawn a picture at some point in time, but not all people would consider themselves artists.
Okay, so all people feeling like a woman doesn't make them a woman, by your logic.
Not all people don't feel like a woman, though. That's the point. That there are individuals who do feel like women, and those people are women.
So circular arguments of a woman is a woman who feels like a woman. So okay,
No, that's not my argument.
that's exactly what you said.
That's not what I said. What I said is that only people who feel like women are women.
Yeah, and that's circular because you're using women to describe women.
No, sir, that's not circular.
That is circular.
It's like
when you
saying
use,
all
so what
square-
you're telling me
Ooh,
is that you're
ooh.
stupid because
It's like saying
you don't
all
know what a
squares
circular
are
argument
rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. I'm sorry if that logic is a little bit too hard for you, but saying that all people who feel
Using
like they're
woman
women
to
are women is
describe
not the same
woman,
thing as saying that women are just people who feel like women.
Using woman to describe woman is circular.
That's not what I did, though. I'm
It
stating
is.
one condition of being a woman that is universal. All women
The only
feel like
condition
women.
that is required to be a woman is to have the potential to produce large gametes. That's it.
Yeah, that's not true.
That is true.
Is there
Because
there are women?
so what is a female chicken called?
A hen.
Yeah. Do they have another word for it?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So that would mean a woman is a female.
We gave chickens the name hen, so your point is kind of mute because
No,
we
it's
created
not.
the term for it. It's not.
We gave
It's not
woman
like an
to
objective
females.
thing.
Yeah, we
Oh my
gave
God,
females
Alfie,
the
I know
name
this. I
woman.
know that your mom threw you at the fucking wall when you were a child because you can't listen. We gave woman to female. Why? Because back in the day they felt sex and sexual was too aggressive to discuss with children. That's why we made woman and mare and hen.
What was the original definition of the word woman?
Adult human female.
No, it actually was
Yes.
not. No, it wasn't.
Yes.
It was wife of a man. It was Whiffman was like the original etymology of the word. It was wife of a man. It was
Whiffman,
somebody
not
who
woman.
was the female partner of a man. Not specifically like an adult human female. It was like the person
Okay.
taking
But
on
again, the
this
female
role
partner of a
in-
man.
in
The female
wife.
partner of a man. Yeah, the
Yeah,
female partner of a man. Yeah, so again, you've discredited yourself because the female partner of a man back then was what? Oh,
Somebody who was
heteronormative
perceived as
straight
female.
people. Yeah.
Again, they didn't even have the understanding of sex that we understand now. They couldn't even look at someone's chromosomes.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they
because they
still
didn't
knew
need to
how
look at their
reproduce.
chromosomes. They could
didn't
look at the
need
fact
to
that they
look
had a
at their
vagina and went, oh my God, a
chromosomes.
woman.
Born
Yeah,
with
no,
a
that's
dick,
not
you're
how-
not a woman.
Yeah, that's not how that worked. That's literally
Born
why we
with
have
a
so many
dick, you're not a
stories.
woman. That's how it worked.
We have so many stories in ancient times where people swap genders because it wasn't something that people could easily tell.
They couldn't easily tell by
Mulan.
the dick in their pants? Okay.
Like Mulan, for instance.
He brought up Mulan. Oh my god.
Oh my god, not you talking about my voice, baby.
Well, I'm a man. I'm not trying to sound like a woman. I'm definitely not trying to pass myself
You
off
definitely
as a
sound like
woman.
something.
Well, you definitely sound like a Crossy with a nasally voice who was clocked as soon as he came into the room, sir.
That's not what a nasally voice sounds like. This is
Oh,
how
yeah, I
my
know. Your voice, you should go back and listen to the recording on my YouTube. It's really bad.
It's not, but okay.
It is really bad. You need to hear your own voice.
Anyway, when it comes to like the definition of woman, every individual woman's experience within their womanhood is going to be different. There's not like one thing that all women are going to agree on necessarily, even though I think that there are some experiences that all women do experience.
Holly,
What are you doing, Ari?
like I'm tapping because you said 7.5 before you'll bring up more people, and like, you know what?
Oh, I said 7.5 before I bring up more people.
Okay, well,
But I
I'm just
said
gonna
before
add
then,
people because
you
screw
can bring them up
you. Like,
whenever you
I don't
feel
want to
like.
talk to the nasally crossy that thought he could fool me.
I said you can bring up people whenever you wanted. I wasn't going to bring anybody up until 7.5.
Yes. Are we still talking about the prompt?
Yes. Are you? How old are you?
I'm in my 40s.
Thank you. And Duna, how old are you, please?
39.
Thank you, guys. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Let's start with Brave. Are you for or against trans ideology?
I mean, if you mean the ideology that is being spread, I'm against it.
In that case, where is your limit, and are you willing to negotiate? Can a man wear a dress?
Yes.
Would you call a man wearing a dress she, her if they asked you to?
Not necessarily.
Is it negotiable? If this man has undergone surgery, has some big old boobies, is really, really pretty, would you be willing? And if they ask nicely?
That's not my criteria.
Okay. Would
my
you be
criteria.
willing to call them a woman?
Again, it depends, but I would know they are not, but it depends on my relationship with that person.
Okay. Would you be willing to call them a female?
No, because I would know they are not. So if I
Okay.
allow them in my presence, I would expect them to understand that I don't see them that way. I could still be friends and so forth, but it will have to be understood that I don't see them that way.
Okay. And Duna, same question for you. Are you for or against trans ideology?
Against.
In that case, once again, what is your limit and where are you willing to negotiate? Can a man wear a dress?
I mean, can or should? I guess that's a different question. He can, but he's still a man. He'd be a freak.
Okay. If that man asked really, really nicely and went through a lot of effort to look pretty, would you be willing to call him she, her?
No, and I have a story about that if you want to hear.
Probably when we get to open panel. Are you willing to negotiate on that?
No.
No? Okay. Transfer, did you want to bring anybody else up?
Yeah, let's just burn through everybody who's in the request list and see where
Okay.
they're
Thanks
at.
for your
Go
patience,
ahead.
guys. We'll get through this. 13, can I get your age, please? 13, could I get your age, please? Kitchen, could I get your age, please?
Yeah, 36.
Thank you for that. On this panel, we don't discuss race. Ooh, he's gone already. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Cam, could I get your age, please?
22.
Thank you. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Let's start with Kitchen first. Kitchen, are you for or against trans ideology?
Mostly against it.
All right, in this case, what is your limit, and are you willing to negotiate? Can a man wear a dress?
He can, yeah.
If that man asked you really nicely to call him she, her, and put a lot of effort into looking pretty, would you call him she, her?
Yeah, I probably would. It'll be
Would
funny
you
though.
say that she's a woman?
No, that's where I draw the line, I think.
Is there no negotiation at all on that?
No negotiation.
All right, good deal. Cam, are you for or against? Yeah, 13, you can come back up. I'm sorry, again?
Again.
Were you for or against trans ideology?
Against.
Okay.
Is my mic messed up?
You're saying yeah, so I'm trying to figure out if it's yes, I'm for, or yes, I'm against.
Oh, no, I'm against.
Okay, in that case, where is your limit and are you willing to negotiate? Can a man wear a dress?
Yeah.
If that man asked really nicely and put a lot of effort into his appearance, would you call him she, her?
No.
Would you negotiate on that at all?
No.
All right, good deal. 13, welcome back up. Could I get your age, please?
22.
Good deal. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions. Are you for or against trans ideology?
4, I guess.
All right. In this case, what is the perfect solution, and are you willing to compromise? Should a trans woman be referred to as a female?
If they'd like to be.
Okay. Would you be willing to compromise if other people were uncomfortable with that?
What do you mean?
Let me just go. So you know what? That's fine. I think that answers everything. All right, guys. Once again, we don't discuss race. We don't use the word cis. On this panel, we can use adult language. We can say sex if we need to. We can say vagina. We can say penis. We don't have to use smex, whatever that is. Obviously, do not use any slurs and do not make any direct threats. And if we do drop a panelist and somebody else comes up, please mute up as quick as possible so that way I can get them introed the same way you were. It is now open panel.
Yeah, so I have a question. When it comes to the pronoun things, does anybody understand why there's this obsession with pronouns? And I'm asking why, because it seems like there are a lot of panels where you have to state your pronouns, and people get, it's like that is their hard line, that you have to state your pronouns before they speak to you. So does anybody understand why pronouns are
Yeah,
so
you're
important?
going into lives that are run by hardline queer ideologues, and they're catering to true delusion. And so, like, they demand that you participate in their ideology by stating your pronouns at the start of every single conversation that you have and every live that you have, and then adhering to the demanded pronouns of all of the ideologues in the live, lest you be labeled the notorious bigot. And then you will be shamed for being a bigot and thrown out. It's best to just avoid them. They're cultists. They popped up everywhere around 2013. And yeah, it's gotten really out of control.
Yeah, it's even mainstream. Like my college does it. It's crazy.
They even be putting it in the emails
I
now.
thought the host said not to use slurs, but maybe
What
I'm
was the
crazy.
slur? What was the slur?
What was the
They
slur?
said TROONS.
Well,
That's
part
not
of
a slur.
part of deconstructing a society is to rewrite its history. So I think that the whole pronoun thing is, they're trying to, make it into a new thing that
So
it hasn't historically been.
do you think the pronouns are so important because they figured out that people are uncomfortable with that, so they're like, okay, then let's do that.
What?
What I mean is, do you think they're so hard on pronouns because they know most people don't like, to be forced to state their pronouns and so forth? So
No. They're
It's
just
because it's like such a basic aspect of respect. Like respecting someone's pronouns is like the most basic thing you can do.
I mean, I don't like. Do
so low
Okay,
effort.
priests demand that you call them father if you don't subscribe to their religion? Like, we don't subscribe to your religion.
That's pretty normally considered respectful, even if you don't follow a specific religion.
A priest father,
It's
or
considered pretty disrespectful in the same way that like not calling a doctor is pretty seen as like pretty disrespectful.
Okay,
so participate in people's religion.
That's not even
participate in your religion.
right? I feel like I don't think that you have to affirm somebody to respect them. I don't think that at all, right?
Correct.
If it's not something I believe in, I just don't believe in it. I respect you as a person. I'll just call you by your name. I don't have to call you a girl when I know you're a man.
It's not something to believe or not believe in. It's somebody's identity. Like it has nothing to do with
all
your
this
belief.
is a mental thing. I don't believe.
So Alfie, let me ask you this question then, since you know about this. If I don't have pronouns, should I?
You're a girl.
Alfie, if I
Everyone
don't
has
have any pronouns,
everyone has pronouns.
What if I don't know my pronouns?
The thing is, 99% of the
What is your
time, I
question?
refer
I
to
don't understand.
myself
If you don't
as
know your
I.
pronouns, then you figure out what pronouns you use. Like I'm pretty sure you know what
Occasionally,
pronouns you use.
I'll refer to myself as myself.
I don't
me,
identify
and
with
I.
any pronouns. I'm female. I'm a woman. So
You just said I.
am.
That's a pronoun.
Okay, but I don't identify. It's not a part of my identity.
You can't identify as a man or a woman. You just are.
You keep saying I. So apparently it's part of your identity because you literally need it to talk about yourself.
It's only trans people that demand that we affirm their delusional state in order to be deemed as respectful. Like
It's not a delusional state, and
nobody else demands that you participate in their fictitious beliefs. Like it's not nobody does
that's
that.
not
It's
true.
just trans
Christians
people.
absolutely require people
No,
to.
actually, literally, we live in a society built by Christians, and one of the foundational laws was the freedom to worship as you choose.
And you actively have
Passed
Christians
by
in this country.
Passed by Christian men. That was one of their foundational beliefs, that you should have the right to worship as you choose, and that you should not be forced to participate in anyone's religious or spiritual beliefs. You might spiritually believe that you're a woman or somehow in some way, or identify with women in some way, but people don't have to participate in that.
Let me get our new guest in, guys. But before that, when I refer to myself, most of the time I refer to I. Occasionally I'll use me, myself, or my. However, what somebody else calls me is none of my business to demand or expect. I generally get he, hims, but it's not my objective to tell them what to call me. I call myself I. Kennedy, could I get your age, please?
There you go. 21.
Thank you for that. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis.
No worries. I don't care.
Open panel.
Okay, so it was about 2010 when I started hearing about the whole transgender thing, which was before probably most people. Anyway, fast forward to 2016, my best friend, who also happened to be my cousin, a male, and he was in his early 40s, he came to my work and asked if we could have lunch. And so we went out to lunch, and he told me that he's a woman. And he put me on the spot, it was just me and him, and I didn't really know how to react at that time or what I really thought about the whole topic, even though I was very well informed on it. And so, he seemed like he was happy, and I was like, okay, that's, good for you. I don't know what that means, but okay. And then we hung out a couple times after that, and he started dressing more feminine, but he still looked like a man. So it was just kind of more like edgy or weird, or androgynous. So it didn't really bother me too much. We live in LA. So, it's not like too crazy for someone to be going out like that. But a little time later, he came over my house in like stilettos and a mini skirt. And he's always been a brute, very loud, slamming car doors, stomping, a guy's guy, not one feminine bone in his body. And when he came over my house the last time, he was putting on an acting like his version of, I guess, what he thought a woman was. And when I saw that, I became so disgusted. We basically never spoke after that. He did contact me to try and get my husband to get him a job, which my husband had done before, but he was a flake and he wasn't responsible. So I was like, well, we can't do that for you because you've already like ruined that opportunity previously. And then he freaked out on me and accused me of being a narcissistic cunt. And I just saw through the projection and I saw through the facade, and I knew that like, this is not real. This is some kind of crazy narcissistic psychopathy that's going on with this person. And he did confide in me that previously, before this all happened, that he would cross-dress in private as a way to masturbate. So
GP. Let me go ahead and get our intros in and we can come back to the conversation. Solar, could I get your age, please?
23.
Thank you for that. And Cod, welcome back. Cod, did you have an opportunity to respond to this prompt yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay. So, Solar, on this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Are you for or against trans ideology?
Well, I'm for it, to be honest.
Okay, good deal. So, can a man wear a dress?
They can if they want to. Is that an issue?
We'll find out. Right now, it's not an open discussion. Just answer the questions. Would you be willing to call a man in a dress she, her?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to call her a woman?
Yes.
Would you be willing to call her female?
Whatever they want to do, yes, I would say yes.
Good night, Tyler. All right, guys. No race. Don't use the word cis. Open panel.
So, Solar, did you say you are in support of the ideology?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, he's gonna call him female.
Okay.
Say that again.
I said yeah because you know why? I do know why I said yeah because why not? I mean, people live their own life, so why do we have to judge them?
No, yeah, fair enough. But what if you don't want to participate because you don't see that person as, let's say, a female or a male? You see them as their biological gender, and that's what you see.
Look, whatever I see is as long as they identify who they are as a person for themselves, I'm fine with it. No matter if you're a man or a woman, you're a person.
So would you date a transgender person?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
So if I'm not asking you your orientation, but would you date a transgender person who is not the original gender that you are interested in usually?
I'm sorry, you said if I would like date a transgender.
So let me give you an example. I have friends who are gay,
Okay.
but they will not date a woman who has transitioned to be a man. They will not date her because to them she's still a man. She's still a woman, so they are not interested. So would you date the gender that you don't usually date if the person transition? If that makes sense.
Like I said, I'll date who I want to date.
Yes, but I'm saying, are you open to dating somebody who is not your usual?
Yes, that's what I said. I said yes, I'll be open to it.
Okay, so you like all genders basically.
Yeah, that's why I'm bisexual because I love all genders.
Oh, I didn't know there was such a thing.
There has been a thing. There's literally people that are bisexual.
Okay, I thought they just gay.
Yeah, people who are bisexual because they're attracted to both of the two sexes, male and female.
Okay, so I got
Two sexes, three sexual orientations: heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual. Go figure, that's how math works. Then there's the lack of a sexual orientation or asexual. Oh my god. Isn't it weird how there's only so many mathematical possibilities?
Yeah, but if it's a male who likes men, then that person is just gay.
If it's a male who likes males, that person is homosexual and ergo gay. Yes.
Yes. So that is the end of it.
That is the end of it, and it doesn't matter how that male identifies or what they do to their body. If they are a male, then they are a male, and you can't change that. And if you are a same-sex attracted male, then you are gay. Ergo, trans
That's what I'm
women
saying.
who date men only are gay men. See how
Yeah,
that
but
works?
he said bi. So I'm saying as long as you like men.
I like
yeah,
it. Like, here, sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like what I like. I don't need to go into a whole
It's not about you. No. Sorry, I used you, but I mean in general. What I mean is in general, when a male likes males, that male falls into the gay category.
It doesn't matter if I'm gay or bi, whatever.
I didn't say you. I said in general.
Okay.
You understand? It's none of my business what you like. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
Can we switch topics? I think you're confused a little bit and it's starting to blow me.
Yeah, I think.
Take it away, Cam. Take it away.
Okay, right.
Okay, then we
Cam.
can just go back to the pronoun thing. Okay, so do you find it respectful or disrespectful if someone doesn't affirm someone's pronouns?
Wait, are you asking me?
Yes.
To be honest with you, I know a lot of people get confused with pronouns. I know when people identify as different pronouns, it's a little hard because they're
I'm
trying
sorry,
to
I can't hear you.
Hello? Can you
Go
hear me?
ahead. Like you had just dropped something. I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. But when it comes to pronouns, when people identify with different pronouns, I would say, like, they're trying to, like, be their own identity for themselves. And I think when someone calls them a different, for example, a different gender or a different ideology of it, it does tend to be like a little. I know it can get confusing with pronouns, but like when that person identifies with that type of pronouns, I would say I think it's best to, like, we give them the respect and not like question about it, because sometimes people question it a lot about like pronouns and everything, and I get it. I know pronouns can be very confusing, but at the end of the day, we should all like respect it. That's what I mean.
Okay,
But
so
I think the only
the English-
confused one is the one who's trying to change their pronouns, right? I don't find it disrespectful if I'm not forcing myself into your belief, basically, right? Because like
yeah.
if you were a trans woman and your pronouns were they, them, she, or whatever the fuck, right? I don't feel like I have to abide by that because one, this is America, freedom of speech, whatever. And two, I don't believe in that. So I feel like you're trying to like force that on me.
Who's forcing it out on you? No one's not forcing it. Here, can I actually just? No one's not. Here's the thing about this. No one's not forcing you to be someone else. You could still be the same person if you want to. But here's the thing about it: trans people and gay people and bi people are living their own lives the way they want to live. And here, to be honest with you, every time I hear about someone saying that they're forcing this on me. First of all, no one's not forcing this on you. No one's not literally demanding you to do what you don't want to do. At the end of the day, we're all living our own lives. That's what I'm saying. We're living our own lives. We're doing what we want to do. But at the same time, no one's not forcing you to do anything. So my thing is, Cam, no one's not forcing you to be someone else. You can still be who you want to be, but nobody's not forcing you. Just
There's
letting
some
you know.
things that are being forced. So
If we
real
don't
quick.
see the problem, we gotta like put reality into it, right? Because if we did have like one of those type of people in there, guaranteed I would be called transphobic or a bigot. So there would be a label attached to that.
Okay.
Yeah, there are things that she's forced to
And
do.
I got
Like literally, you
a,
got
and I
male
got
and
a, I
female
got a few
spaces,
questions.
rape shelters, prisons, sports. Like you're not allowed to have an app for lesbians. You're not allowed to have an app for gay men. That's all forced in liberal states right now. If you don't affirm your child, the government will call you an abuser and take your child away from you. So affirming your child is now government enforced. And then also, when they take your child away from you, they will transition your child in some of these states. So that was government enforced against parental consent. Like literally, they just stole and bypassed parental consent in my state, Washington, as well as Oregon and California. So what do you mean people aren't being forced? People are 100% being forced to comply. People are so scared to talk about their stances. Did you know when I go to farmers markets, I do these food times. I literally have people, some people will be brave enough to walk up and make a statement on camera. A lot of people will nod or they'll give their thumbs up and they'll like kind of pass by and try to avoid it because they don't want to be seen supporting reality. They don't even want to be seen supporting their positions. Even if they do support keeping males out of female sports, they don't want to be seen because trans people will cancel your life. They will form little doxing circles. They'll dox your whole family. They'll go after your job. They'll do emailing campaigns calling you transphobic, all because they caught you in front of a Let's Go
They
Washington
actually just
table
did that to this
collecting a
girl.
pamphlet about protecting women's sports. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? People aren't being forced. You got a radical cult that is running around like it owns our society.
Also,
yeah, people are being forced.
language is mutually agreed upon. So why stop at pronouns? Why can't I force someone to call me by a different title, like Her Highness or Doctor? I mean, why stop at pronouns if we're going to get all crazy like that? Language is mutually agreed upon.
No one should be crazy over pronouns. I think the whole thing about pronouns.
But they
is
are.
just- okay, but like what I'm trying to say is.
No, but
is
they
that-
are.
Can I finish or no? I'm not trying to like argue, but like what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, it's just basic human decency. You don't have to respect it, but at the end of the day, at least respect the person. Okay, I get it. I know you probably get confused with pronouns from yourselves. I get it. I know it's not very important, but at the end of the day, though, it's just basic respect. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well then respect me by calling me Her Highness. That's the title I would like to be called.
So we're supposed to go around and say that you're the highness and you're the queen of whatever state you're from or something?
Yes.
Yes. Why
she's the
not?
queen of
Why
her own
not?
world. Why
Okay,
not?
so
If
can I
you're
call
saying that
you?
the
Can I
English
call you
language and all
assistant?
language is not mutually agreed upon, then yes, why stop at pronouns? Why not I can make my own title and force people to recognize me as that which I identify with,
And
which
where are
is
you going
my
with this when you
highness.
say your
I'm the
highness?
queen of my house.
Yes, I'm Milord. My pronouns are Milord.
Jade, welcome up. Could I get your age, please?
30.
Thank you for that. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. I assume you're coming up for the conversation instead of the prompt. Go ahead and jump in, and when you wrap up, we will go back into open panel. Jade, the floor is yours.
As far as the language, are we going off the current prompt or the one that was just
You want me to bring the other one back up? I'll bring it back up if you like. Give me just a second here. I gotta find it again. I have so many prompts. So many. It's so confusing. Are you for or against trans ideology?
Against.
Okay, so where is the limit and are you willing to negotiate? Can a man wear a dress?
A man can wear a dress.
If that man asked very nicely and put a lot of effort into his presentation, would you be willing to call him she, her?
No.
At all? Ever? Never?
No.
That's the line. Okay. Go ahead and
Yeah, I feel like we lost the plot a long time ago, and the more that we have allowed those small things that seem small at the time, in a way, in a attempt to appease people's feelings, we've lost the plot. So I feel like the line should have been drawn back when we decided to start calling men women and women men. The title should have been like trans males or trans female, rather than ever giving them the leeway to say male, man or woman, because that just opened up the door to them being able to insert themselves in those spaces, and in like womanhood, thinking that they're automatically a part of womanhood just by having woman in their title. So we should have stopped that a long time ago, but since we're here now.
I like the way you think, Jade. I like the way you think. Open panel, guys.
Totally agree with you. I think that the LGB community got their whole plot got lost as soon as they started adding every alphabet as soon as they
They
started
didn't get
adding every letter
lost.
in alphabet.
Sorry, but Cam, they didn't get lost. They're just trying to express themselves to
No,
people.
your whole plot got lost when you started adding them in because they don't even fit
I didn't
in
add
like your
anything.
community, right? Is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
I got it.
Not you
Okay.
specifically, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, let me go ahead
I don't
and
think
add
you
on to
guys fit
that.
underneath the same umbrella.
Let me go ahead and add on to that. As of September 20th, 2025, the LGB International Coalition, then of 18, now of over 20 countries, did address the LGB aspect of the community and declared their independence from the TQIA+. This is because the LGB focused on marriage rights, equal rights. We wouldn't want to get fired from our job. We didn't want to get beaten in the street. However, with the nuclear ideology of aggressive redefinition of language, invasion of same-sex spaces, leading to homosexual erasure by redefining homosexual to include females and male dating spaces, males and female dating spaces, that no longer represents the values that we fought for, and we're done with it.
So, can I ask y'all this a question? Do y'all respect gay people?
Yeah.
No more or less than anybody else.
I'm gay and in a monogamous marriage.
So wait, host, you said you don't or you do?
I said no more or less than anybody else. If
There
they're
are people-
worthy of respect, then they get respect. If they're unworthy of respect, I mean, they're going to be shit people of any demographic.
Oh, nobody's fiercer against the gays than the gays.
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I know you might not agree with it, but at the end of the day, for the LGBTQ community, they're living their own life, trying to express themselves for who they are as people. I feel like this is just like the.
Oh,
X-Men.
see, like my concerns
okay.
stop after the LGB, hun.
Okay, my biggest thing is right. Okay, so are you gay? I mean, are you gay or lesbian if you date a trans?
It depends on what
Solar,
sex they're
solar.
born
No, no,
as.
no, 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 no. Wait.
No, I can
I'm
answer.
asking solar. I'm asking solar.
Oh, okay.
Straight host.
Well, solar's bi.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, is it an issue with me being bi?
You're open to
You
either
can't answer
sex.
my question. No, you can't answer. But you can't answer my question. Then
Okay.
I was going to ask this, right? The thing
What?
with the trans is, right? They say that dating a trans don't make you gay or a lesbian. So it technically does it make you bi or does it make you straight?
Why would it? So you
I
said
think,
about.
let me word this for you, Cot. Are you saying that if you are a heterosexual man and you engage with a trans woman, does that make you straight or bi? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and answer that one, Solar.
So you said if I date like a trans, you
If
said
a
like a trans.
heterosexual man dates or engages with a trans woman sexually, is he still heterosexual or is he bi?
He's gay.
Right.
Wait, why
I
does
mean,
that?
it's in the
So
definition of same sex
Wait,
attraction, not same gender attraction.
Yeah,
but why does it
yeah.
matter who's dating who though?
Why are we
Like,
pretending like sex and gender are different things?
no,
They're
Gender
not.
identity is what's different. Sex, there's gender subsumes sex. Sex is always part of gender.
okay,
So
I was going to ask
ultimately, like
Solar
gender
a
doesn't
question.
mean man or woman, and man and woman doesn't mean male and female.
you had a question, Jade?
You asked if we respect, you
The
said, did you say
LGBTQ.
your LGBT? And I was going to say the line where it used to be, as far as I remember, it used to be that the hold on, I lost my track of thought. Okay, so it used to be a time when they were like they thought that, I want to say they, but it was a thing that people could be discriminated against based off of their sexual orientation for the essential things of life. So, and then those people were deemed as like homophobic, right? If you were denied an application to a job or employment or housing or things like that. It seems like now those things are not even what defines whether you're homophobic or transphobic anymore. If you're not even doing any of those things to someone, you just don't agree, then you're transphobic or you're homophobic. They say it's not about the fact that you hate you. We're not saying that you hate us because you're trying to deprive us of some type of of some type of benefit of life or whatever, some type of opportunity. It's the fact that you don't agree. And that's what I have a problem with. Even if I did respect, I said that I respect you as a person, but I don't agree. Therefore, I'm not going to assimilate, because I feel like if I do, then I'm defying all common sense and reality. Then I'm transphobic or homophobic. So explain that to me. Like, why isn't that it's just about hate anymore? Why is it more so geared towards I don't respect you because I don't agree?
Well, here's the thing about it. It's not like that. There's been a lot of, I think during the past 2025 and 2026, there has been a lot of people that have disrespect gay people. For example, there has been multiple videos. I remember this one video. There are, or actually no, these Street Patches videos. So every time I see those videos, those Street Patches keep saying like, "Oh, you're going to go to hell because you're dating this and you're doing this." I'm like, why care what they do with their life? I mean, to be honest with you, there has been like homophobic people that have said a bunch of like the F slur, a bunch of really crazy stuff because what you don't agree with somebody's lifestyle. I mean, to be honest with you, here's the thing about it. Like I said before earlier, no one's not forcing it. They're trying to live life, but instead for you decide to spend your free day, literally your whole entire free day, just to go to a pride event or anything like that to bother them by like what making homophobic words about and having the signs as well. There has been a few times that there's like preachers like that have said a bunch of homophobic stuff and a bunch of disrespectful stuff. So I just don't understand why someone decides to spend their whole entire day like go out there and disrespect them
What
because what you don't do.
that's not what I'm alluding
Just a
to. So
second,
I'm saying
James.
like,
Just a second, guys.
huh?
You understand that I'm just
Hold up,
about to be on the most bullshit right now, right?
Oh, hold up. Let's get through your intro first there. I'm assuming you're not a Lisa. What would you like to be called?
Lisa.
Okay, hi, Lisa. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including why we don't use the word cis. Are you for or against trans ideology?
Oh yeah, no, we're dying over here. What?
I didn't quite. It says that for or against. I'm sorry. I'm basic.
Oh no, you will never do anything disrespectful there. Understand? She's
I
probably
think
going to be on
Lisa is off
here.
that shit.
Yeah, I appreciate your time coming up. Open panel. I'm confused now.
I think Lisa was off that shit. Telling y'all.
What I'm saying,
Go ahead,
what I'm
Ted.
saying. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying go ahead. We were just
Yeah.
talking over each other.
What I'm saying is if okay, so I've seen in some conversations or discourse where trans people that say like, oh, if you won't date a trans person, you're transphobic, or if you won't date a bi person, etc., then you're biphobic. Not saying that simply that you hate that person or you want any ill will for that person. You're not that doesn't count. That's not what makes you biphobic or transphobic or whatever. It's just the simple fact that you choose not to date that person is what makes you transphobic or homophobic. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like the goalpost has been moved from just hate and discrimination to outright lack of assimilation.
So you're really saying that they're out there like saying a bunch of crazy stuff about saying, oh, like, first of all, I want to say that they're doing that. To be honest with you, I think that's like the same thing. It's like when men say the same thing like that. But my thing is that
It's definitely. I've been in several conversations of whole panels saying, well,
Anti-assimilationists are the queer
guys. Let's let Solar land at least one time. Solar.
Yeah, okay.
My thing is, yes, there's some people that don't take the rejection well, but that doesn't mean there's a whole lot of people though. I feel like you're trying to. What I'm hearing is that I feel like you're trying to put everybody that's gay, like gay, trans, and bi, into one category because you don't think they take rejection. First of all, there's some people that don't take rejection. Let's all say that there's human beings that don't take rejection well. But there are some people that respect it and be like, you know what, hey, it's okay. You don't have to date me. I can be someone else. I think at the end of the day, there are some people that are immature with their feelings. There's some people that aren't. But at the end of the day, regardless, we should still respect each other, no matter if you're gay, bi, or trans. So, to be honest with you, I shouldn't have to like, give like a whole book of a textbook speech about like, oh, this and that, blah blah blah. No, I think at the end of the day, it's human decency and respect, no matter what you are as a person.
I agree. That should be the case, but that's not what I've witnessed as of recent.
Okay.
I always thought that those titles that are being made about us, people who choose not to partake, are for or are actually more geared towards should be more geared towards people who genuinely don't think you should exist, who think you're an abomination, or think that you will go to hell, or all of those things that are homophobic. Not just the people who don't believe in the ideology.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I was on a phone call with this one person or this one dude. He literally said I was an abomination and said a bunch of stupid shit towards me because of what I was bi. And I said, like, yeah, I'm bi. And he's like, you're an abomination. You should not even exist. And I'm like, well, what's the point? Why care about what I do? I mean, there's a bunch of people that said that. It's not the first thing, too. And yeah, I am bisexual, but do you know how many guys said that I'm an abomination and things like that? Do you know how many dudes like say that I'm this, like I'm not man enough? Do you know how many times I hear that? All the time. And I learned how to like tune that out because it's not worth my time trying to argue back with someone that disrespect me. So
You have
Like,
no idea
Right,
what
but
real hate
just like
is.
how that
No
happened to
idea.
you, we on the straight side get called a transphobic or a homophobic or a bigot because we don't agree with your like sexual orientation, right? Like I wish I followed this girl because this happened to her a couple days ago, but she was on a panel and they called her biphobic because she wouldn't date a bi man and they doxed her. Like I think she got expelled from school or she lost her job, one of the two, but they ended up contacting her school. I remember that.
Is he gone?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, guys. These poor sensitive children. Do you does anybody here remember Westboro?
The
No. Are you all
Baptist thing?
babies?
Oh yeah.
The God Hates FAGs group that used to parade
Oh
at
Oh yeah.
soldiers' funerals, and that was when I
Hmm.
was coming out. Do you remember
Yeah, that's
the guy that
crazy.
got tied up to the fence and beat to death because he was gay?
Yeah,
No. Like
that
They
was
have no idea
real.
what real hate looks like. No
No,
freaking clue.
like Holly, my Lukey, look, my favorite gay bar when I was young, like literally got Molotov cocktailed. Like they don't fucking know what homophobia is.
No, they do not.
They do not. Like look, like and this was even before my time. Like my gay elders told me about this. When I got to that bar, I was like, why is
Matthew
it like
Shepard.
this?
Damn
And
it.
look, I was literally like, why is it like this? It had all glass walls on the front, right? And it used to be you go in the front door through all this glass and it open up right onto the dance floor. It's called the Hershey Bar in Virginia. And basically, like it got Molotov by some rednecks, and so they put up an artificial wall in between the glass wall, and then they put sprinklers there, and they knocked a hole in the back and made like a little brick dugout you had to get through in order to get into the club. So it wouldn't be easy to just roll up and like literally fire boom the club.
the club had to be
I
That's
changed the
actually
prompt. If
crazy.
anybody wants to respond to it, you can.
The
Otherwise, I
club
just kind
had
of
to
put
be
it up.
designed around it.
Mm. I just think the whole like plot of the umbrella got lost like when they started adding the whole outfit, like especially when it came to like pride and everything. To me, it just turned into an excuse to get naked. Um,
Well, I will say
for
that I
real.
think that the nonsense we're going through right now, if it doesn't completely end everything, is actually a transitional state. I mean, 20 years ago, when I was coming of age into the gay society, I would say that our three biggest traits were resilience, defiance, and depravity. Both resilience and defiance, because we were living under an oppressive system where the religion was against us, the politics was against us, the jobs were against us. We could get attacked in the street, nobody do anything. The depravity, mainly because of the religion saying that, oh, if you're gay, you're evil, you're going to hell. So you know what? If I'm gay, I'll just do whatever I want. Might as well. But at this, and then we imparted those ideals, if you call them, onto the newer generation. But then, as of 2015, we can get married, we can have children. We don't have these things to fight about anymore, but we still have that lingering resilience and defiance. So we're creating things to have that because that's our attention, that's our fame. And a gay man without attention is not a good thing. And then, of course, the depravity, it's not the worst thing in the world just to be gay anymore. So we might as well walk around on the streets with our tits out and our ass showing and then have piss pools on the streets. We might as well. We might as well get that attention any way we can. But what
No,
I've
no, no.
noticed, give me a
It's
second. Let me wrap up. But what I've noticed from the younger generation, and I'm talking about the younger ones, I'm talking like 18, 19 year olds, they are so prudish by my standards, okay? They want to find one partner, they want to live in monogamy, and they want to have a life just like anybody else. So I think that as a group, we will homogenize into heteronormative behavior for the most part, except of course, heterosexuality. But I think we will go that route. But before it gets better, it is going to get worse.
And
Go ahead.
Yes, I think it's probably
it's
gonna.
not just like gay male narcissism behind that. That's queer theory. That's the anti-assimilationism. It's all in the queer theory. That's what it is. Like this is the cue. Like
I
this
think it's
entire
gonna.
mentality that people have adopted of making being gay a part of a socio-political identity that's supposed to stand against the patriarchy and capitalism, and all of the queers are oppressed because we have a capitalist society. They're literally just drinking out of the fucking Maoist playbook. They're all pawns of the CCP. Like, we need to cut the queue. It is
I think
literally
it's gonna.
setting gay rights back. Like, this is why people are so against gay marriage now, is why all of these things are sliding back hill. They're sliding back hill because of the Q and the trans.
I think it's going to be a lot of infighting first, because
Already
some of the
here.
people are starting to, yeah, because a lot of people are like, when children are brought up, and when it's like this expectation of like allegiance just by you being in I want to say being in the community, but identifying as something, they automatically feel like you're a part of the community, so therefore you should have like this undying loyalty to this community. Like I've heard black men, or I'm not even just black men, but gay men, who are on panels, who like, I don't want to be associated with the community, like identify me as a man by my name, don't, that's not my whole identity, and they like get crucified by other people of the community, quote unquote, that are on the panel. So it's like you get like persecuted by the people that are in the group because they feel like by you identifying though with those things, with those titles, that you should automatically be on board with any of the nonsense. Yeah, so I've witnessed that. You can't be an individual, you have to be a part of the community. It's very cult like.
Alien, welcome up. Could I get your age, please?
You need consent for a letter to get added to an acronym, you fucking gay pussy.
What the fuck?
Honestly, I couldn't understand anything the little twat said. I thought
Yes, that was something.
Oh, it looks like it's dying down, guys. Did you want to talk some more, or should I just shut this thing down? Transphobe? You want to go to the fish?
Put the fish on.
Let's see what this one has to say. Hey, Matt, welcome up. Could I get your age, please?
Oh, yeah, 45.
Deal. On this panel, we don't discuss race, we don't use the word cis, and we don't ask stupid questions, including where we don't use the word cis. We're talking today about what I want out of the LGBTQIA+. If the LGB did not consent to every letter added, if a group is added without your consent, you have to accept them.
I actually I agree with what you're saying. Like, it has gotten so crazy the way everything has gotten so like taken over by the TQI plus. Like, I identify as gay since since 1998. I'm like, I'm 45 now, and like it's just insane the way we have to like either blatantly like agree across the board, or we're considered like, like you said, someone was saying before, transphobic, or we don't agree, we're bigots and all this other stuff. Even within my own community, I got that. Like, it's just I can't be conservative, or I can't be moderate. I have to be completely liberal. I call it lived out. Like, I have to agree with every single thing that's going on out there. And like, just because I identify as a certain demographic, it doesn't make sense. It's like, and this whole thing when they're talking about the kids as well, like it's just like insane, like the way they have to like try to change things the way they were for like thousands of years and centuries in the last 15-20 years. It's like ridiculous. Like, we have to change everything about ourselves just to like adapt to 1.1% of the population. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You should follow along, Matt. I'm a 44-year-old gay man, and I have redefined my own language a little bit lately. I have never identified as being gay. I am gay. I have notified of being gay. I don't identify as it. I am gay. I've just told people about it.
That should be it. We don't have to prove ourselves. I think we have to prove ourselves every time why we're gay. Like, or why we don't agree with this. It's like, and I said, we're not allowed to be different. We have to be, like I said, we have to be like this, like cult mentality. Like, you know, Jay was saying, like, you know, it doesn't make sense why we feel like we have to, like a cow step. I mean, this is not Hitler's regime. You know, it's like ridiculous the way we have to. I feel like it's getting kind of like that level of craziness. You know what I mean? With we gotta like gotta be in line. You know what I mean?
I'm
Thank you
not
for
in
that,
the
Andre.
community,
Hold
but
on
I
just a
think
second,
most.
Cam. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. I do want to let you know that I am giving the panel over to Ari for the remainder of the evening. I'm going to go on mute. Ari is going to be running the show.
I have to go in 10 minutes, Ollie.
Well, what the hell? You said put the fish up.
I said put the fish up. I didn't say I was going to be here all day.
All right. All right. Well, in that case, go ahead, Cam. We'll just wrap it up.
Oh, I just lost my train of
We'll
thought.
just keep
It's
talking.
fine.
It's fine. Well, damn it, Matt, you joined at the absolute worst minute. We're closing down. What kind of prompts are you interested in, Matt? Obviously, you came up for the queer prompt. I have the other queer prompt, which is that one.
I feel like we've done all this work to get where we want, to be considered like, you know, like part of society, and like we just take it and we're just like trashing it and throwing it into the garbage, and people are becoming against us because of the 0.1% who's been so like radicalized. It's like really sad. You know, I don't even like to, you said, I don't even like to call myself gay. It's nobody's business now, because I think every time if I tell anybody I'm gay, they just assume that I think a certain way, that I'm going to agree with a certain way of thinking, and I don't. You know.
How do you feel about queer?
I don't like it. I don't think it applies to me. I think it's not, and I don't think it should be part of the community, because I think it's just too confusing. It confuses too many people, and it gets us all like messed up in the head.
Have you ever read the Queer Nation Manifesto?
No, and I don't plan on it.
You should actually. You
Really?
should.
Okay, I will. I'll because you mentioned it, I'll check it out. So I wasn't, you know, I don't want to get into too far into it, because it's like too much, you know.
Well, consider it like Oppo, Matt. Consider it like Oppo research. Queer is like an approach. It's not like gay. It's not one of the sexual orientations, right? It's an ideology and an approach, and it's like the opposite of the sweater gaze that got us to the point of being accepted in society. It's the embrace it as like a identity that stands out to cause a problem in society.
So basically, they say like straight people could, if they could say they're queer, if they one day they feel, oh wow, I think this guy's hot, and they're straight. It's like, it doesn't make it's like it could be anything. There's no like, where's the definition? You know what I mean? It could be anything and all, anything and everything. That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand. That's why you get confused for me. It gets confusing for me.
That's a political idea. Let me go ahead and just read from their preamble here. This is from the Queer Nation Manifesto, and this is what they stand for. Don't be fooled. Straight people own the world, and the only reason you've been spared is you're smart, lucky, or a fighter. Straight people have a privilege that allows them to do whatever they want and fuck without fear. But not only do they live a life free of fear, they flaunt their freedom in my face. Their images are on my TV, in the magazine I bought, in the restaurant I want to eat in, and on the street where I live. I want there to be a moratorium on straight marriage, on babies, on public displays of heterosexuality. Until I can enjoy the same freedom of movement and sexuality as straights, their privilege must stop, and it must be given over to me and my queer sisters and brothers. Straight people will not do this voluntarily, so they must be forced into it. Straights must be frightened into it, terrorized into it. Fear is the most powerful motivator. No one will give us what we deserve. Rights are not given, they are taken by force if necessary.
It's insane.
Wow,
That's
this.
the Queer Nation Manifesto.
Yeah, you should read that. It's insane.
Yeah, that's the reason why
Like this
Molotov cocktails.
ideology needs to be removed. It should just be LGB. Everything else, get rid of it.
That's psychosis, but I just heard that is like really scary. It's like wow.
And a lot of people have kind of already started to adhere to it by not really even being able to express how they feel, because they're scared. So they
Comrade
just-
Comrade Golf from my chat wants me to tell you that queer is a political ideology that seeks to overthrow capitalism via abolishing the gender binary and the nuclear family.
What does any of them have to do with each other? Those like three totally separate issues. And the best way to try to get
But I
somebody
mean, you
to
can look at like books. Have you ever read Transgender Marxism? Transgender Marxism literally blames capitalism and the cis heteronormative patriarchal society for all gay queer oppression and says only by dismantling those elements of our society and rebuilding them will non-conforming people ever be liberated. So this is basically an ideology that capitalizes on the victim mindset of the gay community to tell us that we're oppressed when we're literally at the peak of like liberation on a global scale. Like we've got the president of the most powerful nation on the planet advocating to end the criminalization of homosexuality, and we're crying that we're oppressed.
I think in order usually most in history mostly most times that people have tried to get people on board and to get a following or or some sort, you have to have a little bit of truth, usually a truth that a lot of people resonate to be a part of your propaganda to get people on board. So if you're anti-capitalist or like I don't know, something drastic that people that people don't align with,
Yeah.
you incorporate that into your propaganda, and those people hear those words and they become on board with it because they agree that it's a bad thing. But that's not even what your actual gender root is rooted in. You just need to be able to manipulate people to be on board with something by using those small truths to if I'm wording that correctly.
No, let me jump in here. I think it's sometimes what they're trying to do now is like they're fear mongering. They're trying to get like the more the rational. I won't say rational. The people who are more like conservative, the more they're trying to create fear. Like, oh my God, if you don't jump in now and agree with this and help us like with this, push this agenda forward, then it's gonna be like you're gonna lose your rights. And you're gonna lose this, and like forget what's in politics right now. It's like they want this like. It's almost like a brainwashing. This is cyclical. This happens, for different groups and different over the years, and it's like it's getting too extreme. It's getting so extreme that it's beyond the rationality has left the building. Common decency has left the building. It's like you don't agree with us. Like we were saying it before, you don't agree with us. You're wrong. We hate you. You hate us, and it's just like there's no sense of there's so much division within the community, and there's no sense of like coming together and cohesiveness anymore.
And the only rights that I hear that they're
that's what the
saying,
Marxists want.
yeah, it sounds like the rights, because I'm like I have to think like what rights are you being deprived of when you say like we're fighting for these rights, but it seems like the only thing that you're really fighting for is compliance. Like that seemed like the only thing that is missing from the equation. Otherwise, everything will flow just fine. We wouldn't have any debates about bathrooms or sports or anything if everybody just complied. And I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Before I'm just about to leave because I know they want to in the live. What the thing I understand the most is with this whole trans ideology. It's not just that; it's getting worse because the community and this is why I don't come out and say I'm gay to a lot of people because like they're trying to actually get maps added to the LGBT people. Oh, that's not happening. That's not they the more extreme something sounds, the more they try to make it seem like it's not really happening. You know,
call
but it
them
really is happening.
Can I say something real quick? I just want to say before we close it down, Holly, the power of the brown shirts wasn't that they already had absolute authority of government. That wasn't the power of the brown shirts. The power of the brown shirts was that they froze society. They made people afraid to organize, afraid to vote, afraid to collect signatures, afraid to participate in politics in our society. When you are silent for fear of being canceled, when you do not participate in the process, they have won. The brown shirts are here. They are going to try to destroy our country. They are consuming the left. Don't give up. Participate in society. Go out to your local community. Connect with others who feel the way that you feel about these issues. And don't give up on America.
Let me show you my newbie, and then we'll close down. Tell me what you think. What would you vote?
I would vote no on medical transition for minors because I don't believe that minors have the physical or mental ability to choose that for themselves.
You came up at the very end, Ashley.
Hi, yeah, I was busy tonight.
You're fine.
This is my
Well, I'll just say this. I think that even with the discourse that was just going on with the would you date a would you date a bi man
I got a prompt for
discourse.
that too. Here, I'll show you that one, Jade. You might like this one since you've mentioned bi more than once. No, you can get to it. It's way back there. There, is that it? Yeah, there we go. There's that one.
Privilege or outcast. Oh, I like this one.
Like I said, I have a ton of prompts. Make sure you follow, guys. We're gonna shut down in about a minute.
But yeah, I was just gonna say in regards to the that discourse, I think that caused a lot of people a lot of allies to decide not to support even, I want to say not support the community anymore, but I've seen a lot of people who used to consider themselves allies even back off just by that whole discourse as well. So it's like, yeah, I think it is costing.
What I've seen is a whole bunch of gay people that used to be hard, staunch Democrats completely changing sides and going over the Republican side. That's the biggest sign I've seen. Thank you guys so much for being here. I want to thank Transphobic for being a wonderful co-host tonight. I always rely on him. He has so much knowledge and so much passion on these topics.
This was great. Thank you guys for allowing me up. I appreciate it.
You're definitely welcome, Matt. Please come back. I do go live Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern. It is now 2 a.m. Eastern, so you can kind of figure out what time it is if you can do math. We have generally trans topics at night. If I come on during the day, I usually do gay topics. However, I do have a rather serious prompt that I'm going to start off with every single day this week. It is kind of sensitive, so come in with the trigger warning ready. But thank you all for being here. Thank you in my chat for being here tonight. Sandy, you are a treat. You spoil me so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a great night. And that concludes me arguing with trans people on the internet for the evening. As always, I periodically jump in on these things from 8 to 11 my time. I always try to end them before 11. Well, I'll put the song about Jonathan Yaniv up, and then I'm gonna...
Late night glow from a crack phone screen, scrolling girls who never let you in, overweight shadow in a wig gone wrong, diabetes dripping while you sing your sad song. You call yourself medicine, a thrift store dress, but the mirror knows you're just a bloated mess. Mommy's little secret in the basement glow, touching things you shouldn't, stealing the show. You're suiting for refusing your hairy sack, cry transphobia while you creep and attack. Stalker in the dark, typing with greasy hands, fat boy in denial, nobody understands. Oh, fat boy, why you always crying? AGP dreams in a body that's dying. Late transition ball still swinging low, stalking women wherever you go. You like them young, yeah, we all heard the tales, touching kids while hiding behind your veils. Mommy's boy with blood on the floor, we know what you did to those animals, whore. Pretend you're a girl in your sweaty disguise, but the smell of fail cuts through the lies. Waxing dreams shattered by brave estheticians, now you're suing the world for your own damn decisions. Unhealthy bond with the woman who raised the monster you became in your twisted haze. Reports you found with tears in your eyes, but we see the bodies you left behind. Watch
Can't they
Have
see
a
me?
great
I'm
night,
just like the
Stevie
girls.
O.
No one
Mein
wants
für
your
Girl.
done. No one wants your lies or your fake is gone. You're a walking punchline, a diabetic choke. Stalking, suing, choking on the smoke of your burning reputation. Flame so high, even your mom can't look you in the eye. Oh, fat boy, why you always crying? AGP dreams in a body that's dying. Late transition ball still swinging low. Stalking women wherever you go. You like them young, yeah, we all heard the tales. Touching kids while hiding behind your veils. Mommy's boy with blood on the floor. We know what you did to those animals. Fat boy, go away. Nobody's buying what you're selling today. Jessica, John, whatever you claim, the world's laughing at your stupid game. And we all know who made those bodies.
Oh, you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out meowmix.online. Great group of trolls been following John Yaniv. I have like 15 lawsuits against me by Jonathan Yaniv. Great AGP, fantastic AGP, probably one of the most notorious AGP locales. Really enjoy my interactions with Jonathan Yaniv. So I've made some songs, and periodically I'm just gonna right at the end. You know, good exit closing song. Y'all have a God blessed night.